All right. This is the spinny wheel of going live.
Ooh.
Hey, guys, what's going on? Brian here from Reptile Talk here, Snake Talk on Saturday night. Jay's in the control room.
What up, guys? How are you?
What's going on? And guess what? We have actual human beings in the studio.
Get out of here, Brian.
We got over here on this side, we've got Ryan.
What's up?
And on this side, we've got Ben, and they are the R&B and R&B Reptiles.
How's it going, fellas?
Yeah, so it's good to have you guys. You've been with us for a couple days. We've done some fun videos that'll be coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah, man.
But you guys are, it's always going to be good. We've known each other for a long time. You guys have done a lot. We're going to have a lot of stories tonight. So basically, as you guys know how this works, not only are we going to be talking about reptile stuff, but we need you to narrate which way we go with your super chats. So if you have questions for myself, you have questions for Ryan, Ben, whichever, general questions about the reptile hobby, go ahead, hit us up with the super chats. We'll answer every single one of them tonight. So make sure you guys get in the super chats, and thank you guys for joining us in the chat too. So first off, a question I always have been wondering, and I didn't even know, I don't know the answer to this. How did R&B start? I mean, what was the deal with this, man? You know what I mean? Like ever since I've known you guys have been partners, and my good friend Forrest always said the only ship that doesn't sink or doesn't sail is a partnership. So
You're keeping it together.
Yeah. So you guys have been together for a long time, which is impressive. So tell me the story.
Well, I mean, we were friends before we became partners.
Yeah.
And fully just platonic, really. I mean, mostly.
mostly. Yeah.
Those long car rides get a little sketchy, but yeah.
That's not what I've heard, but it's not the rumor in the business, but yeah.
That's the struggle we always fight against, actually.
Yeah, is it? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but we're partners, not partners.
Yeah, exactly.
We're always like trying to bring in our wives or girlfriends or whatever, or both, or at the same time, and we're like,
just like, when I heard you guys had wives and girlfriends, I was like, really? I didn't know. I was like, wow, I had no idea. So no, but so you guys were friends and then decided to start the business.
Yeah, actually, I actually was into reptiles before he was.
Okay.
And I was into it because I watched your Snake Bites TV, and I aspired to be a breeder.
Oh my gosh.
So bought my first ball pythons from you. You probably don't know that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Bought a group of 4 or 5 on an income tax.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Started my little breeding setup.
Oh my God.
a while ago.
We weren't really hanging out that much at the time. I was trying to get him to go to a reptile show because nobody ever wants to go to reptile shows with me.
Right.
So eventually I wore him down. He was like, yeah, I'll go. Where is it? I was like, it's in Daytona. He's like, what?
Wow.
So I tricked him into going to Florida with me for like 4 days.
Yeah.
And, it's a big show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
You were there that time?
Yeah, that's back when I used to do them. Yeah.
Pretty impressive for a first timer, So he got starstruck, and I was like, all right, maybe I can get him to come off a couple bucks.
Not starstruck like, there's people. It was starstruck like there's banana ball pythons.
Yeah, for 60 grand or
no,
whatever.
they're $25,000 and people were paying it. Like I watched somebody buy one and I was like, wait a second.
So the businessman in him popped out.
Yeah.
I was like, well, give me buy a couple animals. I'll raise them. I'll do everything. I'll sell them. I'll give you a cut of the profit.
Nice.
Well, let's start. He was like, you buy one animal.
Right.
And we'll work this out. Cause he's like, has this really slow plan of like, all right, he's very, very calculating. Right. So he's like, I got, he had racks, he had empty racks.
Okay. So
like, I got all this stuff
prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were in a hot tub that Saturday night and I was like,
were you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Platonics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, it was a big tub, there's other people there, but, we ended up, I was like, look, man, if I'm going to get in, I don't want to go in like part way. I want to be like, if I want to do a business, let's just be 50-50. He's like, yeah, okay. All right, whatever. So the next day I was like, let's do this. And we were looking at, it was just a pewter female, like a black pewter female. We're like,
it was probably worth some money back then though, I'm sure.
$450.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, all right, this, and I was like, how much could we make baby? And I don't know anything about it. Right. I'm just like seeing numbers. That's it.
Right.
And I was walking around, and we walked around a lot, and I was like, all right. So I went up to Robin actually, and Ship Your Reptiles, and I was like, hey man, how much would it cost to ship like 3,000 grams? And Ryan's like, Ben, you're an idiot. That's not how much that snake weighs.
Yeah.
No, you said like 15 pounds.
Oh yeah,
that's what you said. He's like,
pounds.
how much is it? 15 pounds? And I was like, what?
What for a little ball python?
What are you talking about?
That's right, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally like the exact words was just try to keep up. That's why I turned to Ryan and said, just try to keep up. So I went over, I bought that snake, and I bought 2 adult females that were normals. One was like Posset Xanthic or something.
Okay.
Then I bought a pastel het orange ghost female and a pastel orange ghost male, adult male. So I bought them all like real quick, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get in because I wanted to match how many snakes he had.
Okay, so you guys were
he had more than that, but So I was like, yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
So it quickly snowballed out of control after that.
Yeah.
Then he finally started liking the animals, so that changed everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Once you start liking them, then you're in trouble. Now you're not just buying them as an investment. You're like, holy
This one's
cow.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, my headphones just cut out completely 100%.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I have no idea how that would happen.
That's really weird. I literally have no headphones at all.
Huh.
Weird.
Well, I'll talk while you.
Yeah.
Do
you guys,
wanna
give
share?
me 1 second.
Do you want to switch to those ones?
Something got
Yeah, how did that happen?
Oh, you know what? I bet you kicked it. I bet. Give me a second. You guys talk.
Keep talking, y'all.
So, nope, he kicked mine out. So, yeah, we bought a handful, and one of the problems with this whole thing, and if anybody is on super chats or anything, you can ask these questions because
we'll get to some super chats here
because
we finally have some super chats and you lazy bums out there.
But, when we first started buying them, I was just buying snakes, man. Like I had no idea. I didn't research the market enough. Like I was like, I got
just give me a snake.
But I'm like buying like silly stuff. I should have bought. This is what we tell everybody: you spend more money on less animals. That's what you should always do. Like if you have,
I think there's I don't disagree with that. I think that there's a couple ways to think about it. There's the people that want 100 snakes that are going to produce low end, but you're going to be really easy to sell them, or you're going to have 10 snakes that are high end, and it's like either way can work. There's more risk in buying less higher end snakes because when you have 10 females and you produce 4 clutches, now you're going to do a lot worse than if you have 100 females and you produce 40 clutches. At least you've got 40 clutches. So it can go either way. I used to always be the guy that was like quantity over quality. Now I'm going the other way where I'm trying to kind of get more quality over quantity. Let's hit a couple supers.
Yeah, you got it.
Since the people are back.
The people have spoken.
Finally spoken.
Jay Lee says, hey, Brian, I sent you a package. It should have arrived yesterday in your fan mail from Spread Shirts. Hope you got it.
Yeah.
Is that the one that we
I think that's the one we just opened today.
So you might see it. You might see it in a vlog soon.
Yeah, you're going to see it in a vlog. So the way, just so you guys know, what we basically do when because we go to the P.O. box maybe once a week, once every 10 days or something like that, and we get like dozens of things, right? And we obviously don't do a 15-minute unboxing on the P.O. box. So we open 1 or 2 things, and then we sprinkle them for the next 2 weeks or something like that until we go to the P.O. box again. So we did open it. We did film your shirt. So I appreciate you for that. That was awesome. It was really a really cute shirt. I won't say much until people see it in the vlog. But yeah, you will see it. I'm not exactly sure when, but sometime between now and next week. Let's put it that way. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. And then, of course, my girl, Becky
Gallant, she's in the building. She says, listening to tonight's podcast with my new Raycon Everyday E25s.
Everyday
Brian,
E25s,
go to Raycon, buyraycon.com.
Go to, buyraycon.com/Brian B. Get 15% off.
She says, buy them, people. You won't regret it. I love mine. Like always, sending love. She's right, though. They're awesome.
Yeah, Becky. We were messaging on Instagram about her getting them and stuff like that. And I tell people all the time, we do brand integrations and stuff like that. And obviously, I don't do any brand integration that I don't believe in. Okay. So I turn down stuff all the time. I mean, like these guys made fun of me because I turned down an erectile dysfunctional one.
I just thought we had so much good content.
We probably could have had fun, but the other thing is I just recently turned down one about like a company that would give a loan to people with bad credit. And I'm just opposed to that. I'm like, I don't want to encourage people to go into debt when you can't afford to go into debt. So, I mean, the company was like, oh, I'm surprised. They offered me a good amount of money. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to sell that to my audience,
Yeah, because you wouldn't sell it to yourself.
Right, exactly. But there's a couple companies I work with, Raycon, I work with HelloFresh in particular, because I use both Raycons and HelloFresh personally. And so those are the 2 companies I go back to all the time. And then we spatter other things in. But literally, Raycon, seriously, if you guys ever want...
They're dope, dude.
Earbuds, they're really good. They're really good. So thank you, Becky, for finally doing that.
Dylan just threw $2 just for love. Appreciate
What's up,
you,
Dylan.
He actually did come down here and he said, hey, did you see the episode where Sean Bradley was on Chris and the Fat Man?
Oh, shit.
He started crying and wanted to end the beef.
Oh no, not again.
Is this something recent? So listen. let me. You guys know, and we won't get. We're not going to get into a lot. You guys. It's the thing that I like about you guys is you guys are kind of Switzerland. You
neutrals?
get along with everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the thing I love about you guys really is that you get along with everyone, but you always have my back.
Absolutely.
So this is the difference. Like there are some people, some friends of mine that get along with everyone, but they don't have my back. And there's a big difference between those two things. So Sean Bradley, for a long, long time, said that I was his mentor. Like, like I wouldn't have been successful if it wasn't for Brian Barczyk. And then he kind of went off the deep end and went on this like 2-year thing to smear my name. Like really vitriolic, nasty stuff. And then he came back and said, I did it all just for the attention. I did it all for the attention, and then like a month later, went back to bashing me again.
Yep.
And then he kind of got out of the business. So I don't even know why he was on. I don't. Does he keep snakes anymore, or does he have anything?
So from what I understand, that he was like, "Oh, I'm selling everything," but then I hear like little leaks. People are like, "Well, I think he still has a few of his pet stuff that he wants to like hang on to and get rid of," but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
a shame. It's a shame because I've known Sean since he was like 15 years old, and we're always good friends. But it was like weird. Like I'll tell you a quick story. So he got some old guy, I don't know who he is, to buy a scaleless head ball python from Mike Wilbanks for $50,000. Never seen it. So the last time I was at Tinley, the very last time I was at Tinley, by the way, Sean, Kim, Kim Paws, she came up to me and said, "Brian, be careful. Sean is really going to come at you."
You're standing right there when that happened.
So yeah, right. He rolls up he's in a wheelchair. So he rolls up to me yelling and screaming obscenities. I'm just walking, leave him alone, leave him alone. I found out after he had a gun on him.
What?
And he told Kim that he was going to try to get me to hit him and he was going to kill me at the show. So this is how off the deep end this guy has gotten. You know what I mean? Like literally he and then he puts out the video of him and it makes him look like a complete
staged.
Asshole. And like, of course, you can hear Brian Potter in the background going, "Sean, shut up, dude. Stop it, man. Stop it." And he comes over to my booth. He's throwing shirts around. Take your fucking shirts and get out of here. All this stuff. I mean, the guy was just out of control. But my point is that like, I don't know what it was all about. I had never done anything. So anyway, so what happened was that night I was in the bar and this older guy, like probably in his early 60s, comes over and he goes, "Brian Barczyk," holds my hand out. And I hold my hand, I shake his hand. He goes, "Thanks for making me lose $50,000. And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I invested in the Scaleless Head project and now it's garbage thanks to you." What? And I go, first off, and Sean really was bashing about the fact that he invested $50,000 in the market crash because it was somehow my fault. Number one, he was the one that crashed the market. Yeah. Because at that Tinley show, remember, he had on his thing 20% less than Brian Barczyk was right on his thing. Yeah. Like it didn't matter what my price was, he was going to be 20% less. So he crashed the market. Number two, he didn't buy it from me. He bought it from Mike Wilbanks.
Oh man!
So why you mad at me? I didn't cost you $50,000. Mike Wilbanks cost you $50,000. I didn't tell you to spend the money. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so anyways, I didn't like to see anyone ever get hurt buying reptiles. For sure. But it happened. I got hurt. I spent a lot of money. I spent $70,000 on a viper ball. It proved out to not be genetic. You know what I mean? I had a $180,000 deal with a guy over in Europe that came from Emmanuel Noah in Africa that had super bamboos in it, bongos. All of them turned out to not be true. The super bamboos turned out to be lessers. And blue-eyed leucisticus at the time were $1,000. I paid $25,000 a piece for these super bamboos. $25,000. They were $1,000 snakes. So my point is that we've all lost money. Yeah. It's life goes on.
That's what happens when you're on the cutting edge.
I know the risk that I'm taking. And if I lose the money, then I lose the money. When you buy a stock and it goes down by 80%, you don't go and try to kill Steve Jobs. He's not, he's dead already. But get my point. Yeah. Elon Musk.
Right.
Which that's
not dropping 80%.
Yeah. But Tesla's not bad. Although I love what Tesla did recently. I know I by the way, my podcasts go all over the place.
That's perfect.
I love what Tesla did. They beat the streets estimates, of the earnings. But you know how they did it? Do you know how they did it?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yep.
They
Isn't that
bought
crazy?
they bought Bitcoin, and
Love
because
it.
they bought Bitcoin went through the roof. Then they sold the Bitcoin to make a ton of money, so that they could beat the streets earnings report. So it was a brilliant move.
Brilliant.
You know,
Yeah.
brilliant
Smart.
move. I mean, Elon Musk is my hero. I
Yeah,
love that
straight up.
dude, man. But anyway, so it was funny how Sean had this guy that convinced that was his partner that I was somehow, the reason why he lost his money, even though they never spent a dime with me. And that was the
terrible.
thing. Sean hadn't spent money with me in probably 15 years, not $1. We did no business together. But I used to listen to hours and hours and hours of like him ramping, about all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden I became his enemy. Anyways, point is, I don't give a fuck about the beef. I don't care about Sean. I mean, I don't.
It's not worth the energy.
I mean, I can tell you, I'd love the beef to go away, but I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to be his friend. I mean, you can't do the things that he did to me and then us become friends again. It's
Over
kind
and
of like
over
that.
and over again. Right?
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like who said that? What was the famous rapper that said, "Listen, I don't like you, but I still want you to eat, just not at my table."
Right.
You know what I mean? I want you to still eat, Sean. I want you to be fine. It's just not at my table. You know what I
like
mean?
that.
So yeah. Anyways, what we got?
Jay Lee came back, says, I just wanted to make sure that you got it, and the letter should be coming soon. Sending love from Maine.
Oh, thank you. We
Yeah,
love
no, it
Maine.
was that, because I think it was from Maine, too.
Yeah,
So
I
think it
remember
was.
that. I remember that. Yep. And the letter came with it.
Yeah,
right?
the letter was in there.
Yeah, it was in there. Yeah.
Tiffany, she says, Palmetto
her.
eggs, question mark.
Oh my
Hope
gosh.
Jerica's name is on an egg.
Tiffany is so. How does she know?
No,
How
honestly,
does she know?
did you do an IG story or
I
something?
did do an
Oh, you.
So I got palmetto corn snake eggs today.
That's awesome.
So I was super excited about that. We got a female palmetto corn from Desiree, and as a it was a fuzz eater. Raised it up, it bred for the first time this year, so it's laying. It looks like a big clutch too. She was still laying eggs this afternoon.
You got to put us on the list.
Oh, they're
I
so
love
cool.
palmettos.
Oh man,
Love 'em.
yeah. I tell you what.
Don't tell Matt Most.
Why is that? Matt
Was
hates
he?
them.
No.
Is he producing palmettos?
No, because Matt Most has been telling us to get into corn snakes. Like,
Oh,
I don't necessarily want to get into all corn snakes, but I really love palmettos.
They're
Yeah.
sick, dude.
They are
they're
cool.
like little cow retics.
no,
Yeah.
they're
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I
It's
think.
just funny.
Well, you guys have some cool colubrids. I mean, I'm jealous
we do.
of a bunch of your colubrids. Really, I mean,
You're
got a
jealous
bunch
of like.
Well, no, you guys. No, most of your colubrids are really cool, though. I mean, tell me what you guys are working with.
Well, we got pretty much every porphyracia.
Yep.
We have
wow, that's awesome.
a bunch of rhinos. We got some for you.
Yep.
Early on. Several species of file snakes.
Yeah, the
Which
files
is-
are the
Yeah,
ones.
no,
that
that's
are-
really
You're gelling,
awesome.
But I,
favorite.
but I love all the porphyracia too. So and I didn't realize you guys had all of them. That's
We're
impressive.
missing one. We're missing
Which one?
Coxeye.
Oh,
We
you-
didn't.
cock- well, the cocks are the
Yeah, they were
most
the-
common. Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
$75. Yeah, so
Right.
And then we got mandarins. We have Japanese forest rats. One of the locales. So
Wow, that's awesome.
Japanese forest rats are real rare. They're cool.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the Climacophora, or is that
the
what is it?
conspiculatas.
Conspiculatus. Oh, the
Yeah.
twin spots. Yeah,
Yeah.
twin spot. Yeah, conspiculata. Those are cool. You're right. You don't see the conspiculata hardly ever. It's been a long time since
and
I've seen them.
almost nobody produces them. Like
There's
you
only
can't.
2 people in the U.S. producing them right now. We got an egg last year from a female. We're probably going to
here's a
produce.
conspiculata right
Oh, they're
here. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're really good.
Really pretty.
Yeah, I wish they stayed that way as adults, but
Oh,
they-
what do they
Even
dull
as
out?
adults
Like,
are still.
they get
they're
more
still,
like this?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
more
that's
like
still
an adult,
very
but
pretty,
still
yeah.
very pretty snakes. Yeah, very pretty snakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll get a couple clutches of those this year for the
Oh,
first
that's
time.
awesome. I'll have to get some from you. Definitely put me down
Absolutely.
for a pair or two. Seriously, I
They,
want to get
they
some.
produce one egg.
Ah,
And it
What?
And
Well, last year one egg.
one egg. Sometimes they'll produce 2, but the egg
Oh,
is
that's good.
huge.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's cool.
When they're born, they can go a year without eating from birth, like
Oh my gosh.
from hatching.
Yeah, from hatching. Wow.
Yeah.
That's badass.
That's cool.
It's
so
crazy.
So like you said, I think their colubrid colony is really awesome because it's very selective and it's really cool
Yeah, we
stuff.
tried to focus in on like rare, uncommon stuff that you can't
Yeah.
see. You know?
Yeah, and that makes sense. So porphyracia? Why don't you punch up
Yeah.
bamboo rat snakes?
Yeah.
Because you aren't going to spell porphyracia. I doubt it.
No.
Yeah, so bamboo rat snakes. People can get an idea what these things look like. So these are different species of bamboo rat snakes. I love them all. I mean,
They're
they're
so
all
pretty.
just so
Yeah, they're
beautiful.
great.
Yeah.
Me and Robin Markland, we always go back and forth, almost like not fist fighting or anything, but like he's like, Coxeye are the best. And I'm like, Lattice Cinctus are the best.
I
I'm like
think
a Lattice Cinctus
yeah,
guy.
Lattice Cinctus are really
They're
cool.
super red when they're born.
Yeah,
like,
they're beautiful.
they're
yeah.
awesome.
So, but I am the most jealous of your file snakes.
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
fact.
they
So,
are the best.
So why
They're
don't you
super cool.
punch up Cape file snakes for me? I know you guys are working with a few different species, but the Cape file snakes are like, I literally, I might get a boner. So just don't keep the camera above the table.
Yeah,
No,
they're
look. Oh my god,
they're almost like those dragon snakes. I mean, very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Super
so.
heavily keeled scales. It's like
Yeah.
obviously it's a file snake. It's
Triangular body, you know.
Yeah, and they like don't. They don't constrict, right? You know, so they're just
No,
like they're really bizarre.
They're brutes, man. They just grab onto you, thrash around. It's
Thrash,
like almost like a bar fight. It's really funny.
It was funny when I was in my buddy Ralph from Ultimate Exotics in South Africa in Durban, outside of Durban. I was down there and they produce a bunch of them. And he it was so funny because he picked me. He goes, "These things never bite." It just fucking rails them, man. Just like grabs them and won't let go for like 10 minutes, you know. And he's like, "This is the first time I've ever been bitten by a file snake." And they kind of look like they could be rear fanged, right? You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
a
almost
little
look
bit,
like
yeah.
that. Like, oh, I'm
agree.
like, are you sure that you're okay with this? You know, but because I didn't know much about him at the time. But that's when I fell in love with them, when I saw his, from babies all the way to adults.
And they get pretty big too.
They're really cool. So I hope you guys produce because I want some
Oh my
babies.
goodness, we're trying so hard. We have a 1.3 of wild forest files, or the common file, I guess is what.
Yeah.
West African file.
Yeah, the West
African
Africans,
file,
yep.
and then we also have 1.3 of
Of the capes.
The capes,
They're
yeah.
CB.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Yeah,
Yeah, from Warren. Yeah.
Yeah.
Warren's a good dude.
You got
man.
lucky on that one.
You guys beat me out
Yeah, he
by a fucking.
It's probably 2 weeks. That
I know.
Yeah, he called us just recently. We're like, hey man, like, what are you? Because obviously we're like, hey man, we could get more if you have any more.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, everybody's getting them, and he goes, but by the way, I should have never sold those. And I was like, yeah, well.
But that's okay because I got the mole snakes, and he did.
Yeah.
I know that he secured me at least a trio of baby Cape files now,
nice.
and I told him to try to I'm like, get everyone you can get,
As many as you can get,
But
right?
but he's at least got me a trio that's going to come in at some point. But I love Warren; he's a great guy. He's a good
he's
dude.
real cool.
What else we got?
VDog says, wanted to give you a heads up. All your emails that I signed up for Reptile Army have been going to my junk mail.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, we got to fix that.
Yeah, we'll fix that, VDog. I
appreciate you letting
Thanks
us
for
know.
the heads up. I'll find out what's going on there. Of course, there's always going to be, growing pains with new things.
Always.
And so we'll get that sorted for sure.
Tiffany came back to say, also, can D-Sass get a birthday shout out, which is Dragon Sass Fly?
Dragon Sass
Dragon
Fly.
Sass Fly.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
A lot of birthdays this week, actually. My daughter's birthday happens to be tomorrow.
Happy
Ooh,
birthday.
really?
Yeah, yep. She's the big 30. 30, man.
Oh,
Can you
ancient.
imagine that?
It's all downhill.
I don't think
know,
that was. I
30.
don't think that was supposed to be Dragon Sass Fry.
Really? What do you think?
Dragon's ass fly?
Dragon's Ass Fly?
Dragon's
Oh,
ass
it's probably
fly.
Dragon's Ass Fly.
Dragon's ass.
Just want to make sure
fly.
that you got the right shout out.
Damn,
Dang.
that's so right.
So let's hit a couple other supers and we'll get going. on some
Our
other
boy
stuff.
Josh Fennellen says, so what's up with Lori kicking your butt at Sumo's for Reptiles, Brian? Danny
Oh.
Mendez brought it up on MJ's podcast.
It's funny. That's another guy that is obviously he leads the hate group on Facebook on me. Literally is the moderator
And he-
for things.
yeah.
And my
He also flipped like.
I
his
heard
best friend.
yeah,
and then not.
yeah. I've heard now that when he was on MJ, because MJ told me he's like, I'm not letting him trash you, and supposedly he's now like,
he's
well,
behaving
Brian,
now?
yeah, well, Brian's not that bad, but you run my hate group, I mean, like, okay, but I think I always tell people, in all honesty, I have more respect for someone that would just be like, yeah, I hate that fucking guy,
Yeah.
to my face. But that never happens, right? It's always like, to
doesn't
my
really.
face, it's like, oh, you're my best friend, but behind my back, you're going to trash me. That's one of the reasons why it's hard for me to want to go to Tinley. But yeah, so hey, apparently Danny and me and Sean are going to get together and
Best
have
friends.
a little
I want to be
fondue
invited
party.
to the party.
Yeah, we'll have a
Yeah.
little fondue party
That'd
and
be
stuff
awesome.
like that. Well,
I like old times.
I want to make sure I have something real pokey.
just in case,
I
and a
need
little
to
hot
stick it
liquids.
sticks in someone's eye. But no, that's good. Well, that's and by the way, okay, so let me
Yeah,
let
please
me
paint
first
this.
say we did a blow up sumo. This is the thing. Again, Sean and me, great friends. Danny and me, great friends.
Yeah.
I never did anything to them to make them hate me. Like there was never like a point where I was like, well, I hate Brian because they were friends. and hate me. Like, I'm like, what happened?
Gradient shift, yeah.
Yeah, like it didn't make any sense. So obviously me and Danny used to do stuff at Tinley for promotion. One of the things we did was the sumo wrestling. So those big blew up sumo suits.
Yeah.
And we did this after the auction. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, sounds great.
And Danny was the MC, and then I was kind of the person that just got the crowd riled up. So obviously Lori and I were gonna do the sumo. Well, first off, you can't win, right? You know what I mean?
Not against Lori, no.
like number one, she's going to win because she's going to pull my eyes out, you know?
Yeah.
And number two, even if I did win, I would lose because what a dick would beat up his
his
wife,
wife,
you know?
right?
But that being said, there was a time where it was myself, Lori, and my friend Aaron Jones, the photographer.
yeah.
And she literally grabbed Aaron by the hair and threw him down.
Oh, that,
Like grabbed him by the hair and
I
like
believe it.
he had scratches on his face and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, you just don't mess with Lori.
She's tough.
You know, so yes, Lori.
I've been
beat me
afraid
up.
of her before I got into the hobby.
Yeah, everyone should be afraid of her. But
she's-
and by the way, you'll
she's
never
sweetheart.
see Sean talk bad about Lori or Danny talk
Yeah,
bad about
that's
Lori because she will
fine,
kill.
right?
She will beat their asses. As a matter of fact, Sean one time said something about Jade, and Lori lost her mind. Lost her mind.
Not
on
a
him.
smart move.
And then he apologized profusely for saying something, you know. But anyways, point is that yes, I did lose, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. I don't mind that I'm not this.
Dude.
I don't mind that I'm the tough guy in the relationship. I am definitely the beta to the alpha.
It is not the hill you want to die on.
No, there's other things I can do.
Solosaki says, hi, everyone. Love and 420 from the cloudy Northwest.
Cloudy Northwest.
It's cloudy out there
Yeah,
today,
it is.
Brian.
Yeah,
Oregon, right?
Oregon. Yep, Oregon. Yep, exactly.
Remember.
Costia says, hello, Brian, Jay, and guest. I got my Reptile Army shirts yesterday. They are so amazing. Love you guys so much.
Thanks so much. And again, with our, you guys have some sweet swag too. Well,
Yeah,
you got
I'm not
Market
joking.
on. You got the, but you
The
guys
sun
do a lot.
gazer
You
one
guys
was
do. How many designs do you guys have? Because I mean, this is like the fourth design that you've wore since you've been here.
6 or 7. Not,
Six or
not
seven.
a ton,
It's
no.
probably like 8,
They're nice, though.
Oh yeah, we have a few.
including the older
Yeah.
designs. Yeah, we just basically our favorite animals. We put them on shirts.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's good.
Come
we
up
were
with
like,
ideas.
we had that sun gazing shirt that Ryan
Yeah.
was wearing the other day, and we're like, and I have, me, I'm like a ton of ideas. I can produce 1,000 shirts right now.
Yeah.
But Ryan's like, we should really have shirts of things that we have
Yeah.
because
The first question is, "Oh, you guys got those?"
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
got sun
like, "Yeah, we
gazers.
really want to." But
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
makes a really cool shirt though.
Yeah.
like, that people
It is a
wanna wear.
tough one, and that's kind of, I agree with you. I mean, that's like with BHB, it was always like it had to be, theme based around what we worked with. That's what's nice about Reptile Army is it doesn't have anything to do with,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to do anything. As a matter of fact, most don't have anything to do with the Reptarium either.
Yeah.
The Reptarium stuff will be different merch. That'll be like just drops, like, the drops we do sometimes.
Yeah,
now.
like vlog drops.
Yeah, vlog drops, but the Reptile Army can be anything. It can be a sun gazer or a earless monitor.
sun-
The earless
Clothing
monitor
brand.
one was good, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Always
so
have
it's
good ideas.
Yeah.
V-Dog says, saw a small red lizard whose tail sprayed like sprinkler. Online, no details, though. What is this? Have you ever heard of it?
I don't
I
know.
saw that, but I don't know what it was.
Oh, you saw it online.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a gecko with a fatter tail that shoots
Yeah.
out like almost like spider webs or like goop.
What?
Is that what
Is
you're
it
talking
Australia?
about?
Yeah, that's definitely has to be what.
Wait,
it was
I'm
on
pretty-
Instagram.
I've seen
I gotta
that.
see this.
I
It
saw
was
that.
on Instagram like yesterday or the day before. I saw it.
Ooh, that's
You know
where
who-
it's goo.
It says shoot web from tail right there. That's probably it right there.
It's
Yeah,
these
that's
things?
it.
What are these?
Yeah, the third picture. Yeah,
Interesting.
there's a video.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's right. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have to
yeah,
do the
I got
video
you.
Side.
That is crazy, though.
So where are these guys from? It looks like a New
Yeah.
Zealand type of
Says they
animal.
won't hesitate to squirt a putrid, sticky liquid from their tails straight at any would-be predators.
Does it
Jeweled-eyed
say-
gecko.
Oh, Australia. Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was Australian.
I would have said New Zealand, but yeah, Australia makes sense. Plus, everything kills you in Australia, right?
Of course, duh.
So it's. Have you guys ever been? You've been to Australia? No,
We haven't.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Yeah. What,
We were trying to
so-
go when you went. You took tours over there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
and we were like, yeah, we're gonna do it, and then it just faded
I
out
would
after
love
that.
to do that again. I mean, obviously, we all have to learn to travel again and stuff like that. After this whole mess is over, but I wouldn't mind doing a couple more tours. Those were fun. They really were. And Australia and South Africa are probably the best too because they're both pretty tame.
Yeah.
They're exotic but tame in the same way.
Still a little Americanized.
Yeah,
and stuff,
you know, because you go to some
parts.
places like Indonesia's difficult. Like Indonesia's for the hardcore. you know, I mean, when you get into like the crazy parts
sure.
of Indonesia, that's not for people that are like, hey, I want to go and stay at the Hilton.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I want to go hunt, you know, carpet pythons, but I want to stay at a Hilton at night and get breakfast in the morning, you know. I mean, some of those you know.
Even some places in Africa can get pretty sketchy.
Oh, lots of I almost died there the last time I was there, yeah. So, I mean, it was
But good herping. Good herping.
It was great, yeah. Unfortunately, when we went, it wasn't good herping because, although we did find a leopard tortoise, we found a little carpet chameleon, and we found a couple green vine snakes that were pretty cool. But that was down in Durban. But you know, I have this like perfect timing where it seems like every time I get to the southern hemisphere, it's our summer and their winter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I seem to do that every like, oh, let's go down there, you know, and I get down there and it's freaking cold, you know, and you can't go herping. But if you go in the right time, it can be very, very good. But yeah, so I might do tours again.
I want to do Africa again. I've been to South Africa to like Cape Town though, like way down, and it wasn't for animals before we started our whole deal. And but I have some friends that do, you know, big game, like checking out the big game areas and stuff like that. So I've like a few contacts.
Yeah, I mean, the big game's great. I'm Big Five in Africa. You got to see the Big Five. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You got to do that. But it's you know, the western side is definitely different. It's, you know, when you can get away from Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, get out into the bush. That's the real, you know, beautiful parts. That's the parts that I enjoyed. We were gone for I think 27 days when I did Brian in the Wild, and we were like completely disconnected. You know what I mean? Just like gone. No TVs, hardly any internet ever. You know, every now and then you could check your emails maybe every 5 days.
That sounds amazing, but terrifying.
You know, it was really. I tell people, and now again, you got to remember that was I'm much more connected now than I was then. So, and I remember it taking a couple days to decompress, but I've told people that it's shocking how quick you can adjust to not being around technology.
Yeah.
And I always said at the end of that, like 27, 28 days, whatever it was, we were in the bush. We ended up staying that one night in like a really nice hotel by the airport. And I was like, you know, the whole crew that I was with was like, let's just get a nice hotel. Let's, you know, because we've been staying in bush camps, you know, sleeping on like terrible, like a cot, you know, or floor, or stuff like that. And I was like, let's, you know, be a little opulent for the last night before we head back to the States. And I'll never forget this. We checked in. I went upstairs. I had my own room, and I checked in. I turned the TV on, and I swear to gosh, it had hurt my head. Like watching TV like hurt.
Whoa.
It was like weird. It was like too much stimulus, right?
Sensory overload.
Yeah, it was like just watching TV. It was like it took.
Because you haven't done it for a few days.
Yeah,
Wow.
In 27 days, I literally went to the point where like TV became a problem. You know, and within an hour or so, I was back into like, you know, watching shows. But I just remember
really
turning it on, being like, oh my God, this is like, it's bright. It's too much, you know, like stimulus. I gotta. You know, and it's interesting how quick you can adjust.
Adapt,
you know,
It's good to detox from that stuff.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's what I'm going to do Monday too. So, you know,
Detox.
Go to the lake and, you know, where there's no reception.
Yeah,
and be away from everything for a day. You know, because I definitely am way too attached. Speaking of that, keep the super chats coming, guys.
Yeah.
What's
Nick
Mr.
says
Farmer doing?
he says, what size tank do I need for a rainbow boa?
Well, it depends on what kind of rainbow boa, and it depends on how old it is. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, an adult is probably going to need at least like a 50 breeder, 75-gallon tank, something like that. I don't really like tanks per se for snakes.
It's definitely something that keeps the humidity in.
Yeah. At least the tank keeps the humidity in it to some extent, but then you have the top that you have to somehow, you know,
Cover up.
Plexiglass or something.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit more challenging. But, you know, there's a lot of built cages, I think, that are a little bit better, like plastic, you know, PVC type cages.
And they're not that expensive.
Yeah, they're not. They're probably cheaper than a tank, really, you know, when you're talking about the size that you're going to need for a rainbow. So a rainbow, you know, like a 4x2 cage is probably about, you know, about size for an adult rainbow. But as a baby, you want to keep it in something much smaller, because if you keep it too big, then you're screwed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matt. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you guys work with any boa stuff at all, or live bears?
We have in the past, but there was a
size issue. We had the space we were working with at the time, and we said, you know, we can fit a whole bunch more animals in here if we got rid of the, you know, the 4x2.
Giant ones. Yeah.
caging for
Yeah.
the boas that we had. And I mean, there was a couple that we worked with. We got into black-tail Cribos.
Oh, that's
Remember
nice.
we bought the
I remember
that
at
pair
the
with
Tinley.
you?
Yeah. I bought a pair. You guys bought a pair. Yeah.
We're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then we kept them for a year,
They get big quick.
and we were like, oh, these are cool. And then we actually watched Black Pearl's video where
He's got good stuff.
he one of them jumped like flung itself out of the bin, and Ryan's like,
Chase
I
him
don't know
across the room like 12 feet.
yeah, Ryan's like, I don't know if we have the runway for this bed. And
I can only back up like 3 steps, man.
Yeah, you're
Like,
gonna get hit in the face. Today we had a little baby Argus monitor. Little Argus monitor literally leaped from one side of the aisle to the other side of the aisle.
Unreal.
Out of
Unreal.
the cage, just like.
Tell me you got it on video.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we did.
Awesome.
That's
And,
awesome.
and Noah did the most insane slide on his belly to get it.
And that floor is not slippery.
That's
you know what I
very
mean?
slippery,
Like,
and
I
it
don't know how he did
certainly
it.
is cement.
Yeah.
And he just like laid out like on the ground, slid belly first, and grabbed that sucker. So
Got the Barczyk blood.
yeah, so that was impressive. I've never seen if that would have been done in like in the middle of Africa, that would have been a million views right there.
Hondo.
Catching some monitor lizard.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Cribos are high energy.
Yeah. So we ended up getting out of those as well because they're just the size. and
We
stuff.
regretted it, but
Yeah,
you know.
because
Yeah,
we're like, oh, we
it's
could
hard.
probably sell these, and they sold in like instant
Yeah.
for tons way more money than we bought them
Yeah.
for. And we're like, since then we've been like, we need to get back into them.
Yeah. Did you see
Really?
that Desiree and Steven just produced Mexican indigo eggs?
Did they?
way.
No.
Yeah,
I
they
did
had a
not.
clutch. I think it was 11 good eggs. So,
Oh, that's
so good
awesome.
for them.
That's
so
great.
I'd love
That's
to,
great.
if they hatch those, I'd like, because you've got like, the Mexican indigos, you've got the Texas indigos, don't need
Mexican-
permits for those.
Yeah, the Mexican
And-
reds are super pretty.
Yeah, they're super good. And then it's just the Cooper Eye, the Florida Easterns or whatever that you need permits for. And I really those are unfortunately my favorite.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Easterns
absolutely.
are my favorite. And Black Pearl, of course, is known for, I guess,
He
helping.
is.
I reached out to him about a month ago, but I didn't hear back from him.
Really?
Hopefully he gets back to me at some point, or
I
maybe he
got his
just
number
got,
if you want.
yeah, maybe we'll have to talk to him,
Yeah.
because I know that Miguel, I know he doesn't hate me because Miguel,
No,
I'm always
no.
like, I don't know, because Miguel talked to him a while ago about it, and he was like, oh, tell him to contact me.
Yeah,
Because I guess he said he would help you through the process.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had him
the
on our
permits.
podcast.
Yeah.
Like kind of early on when we were doing ours, and he's like, yeah, I'll help anybody, and the permits can take a long time to
Yeah.
get through.
Well, it was a bummer. I feel really bad, and I feel like such a dick for this, man. But the Leap and Lychees, remember I was going to buy
Yeah,
that pair,
Yeah.
and I applied for permits and got denied.
Yeah.
Really?
And it took like 6 months.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get him from him. I felt like such a jerk because he was kind of hanging on to him for me, and then I just kind of gave up, and I was
Yeah.
like, I guess I just can't do it. But I would now apply for it in the Reptarium's name and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
to get the
Steve is
permits.
good. I think he still had a couple though too.
No, we asked him the last time. He got rid of them. Unfortunately,
remember.
Yeah. Did
because
he
we
ever,
wanted to get them.
Did
Yeah,
he
we
ever
did.
breed any of his sun gazers or no?
He tried.
Nah.
None
Didn't
of
get
yeah,
it.
No, but
Nah, that's a bummer.
Turned
Yeah.
out the male wasn't that virile. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. And the male was beat up a bit when before he got it.
Okay. Is there anyone else producing them or working with them in the country?
there was Frank Payne, but
Okay.
the problem is there's not a lot of males, and the ones that are here aren't
Aren't
really,
good.
they're really beat
Yeah.
up. So unless one pops out of the woodwork somewhere, like
Yeah, there's one. Those are the things that you're like, yeah. There's like none of like you
Yeah.
when people have them, you're like, oh man, what is that? And you're like,
Yeah.
I can't believe that somebody has one of those. Yeah, I think Randy Mopia had a couple or something like back in the day.
no,
but got
Frank
rid of them.
Frank bought his.
yeah,
group.
Frank bought his.
Frank
group.
Payne bought his group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So-
Interesting. You know who? Speaking of interesting animals, guy from Blue Tongue Skinks down in Florida. What the heck's his name? I'm blanking right now. It's like Blue
Gertie?
Tongue- No. It's like Blue Tongue Skinks on Instagram. Darn it.
Alex,
Is it
Lackey?
no. No, gosh darn it. I feel so bad. I'm so if he's listening at any point, I apologize. Anyways, he has a bunch of westerns that look like they're going to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had like 3
Somebody that
females that
has
look
westerns
gravid.
and-
Yeah. He's a good guy. Gosh, I cannot believe it. I bought a bunch of really cool blue tongues from him years ago, Easterns and Northerns. But he has 3 females that he thinks going to go. It had like 4 confirmed locks on each of the
Oh,
females.
that's awesome.
So hopefully he produced some westerns.
That'll
and
be
then-
really cool.
Anyone doing multifasciata, the Centralians this year?
There's a guy in North Jersey that produces them
I've heard about it.
Every other year, but
he
just does it for himself. You can't get a hold of him. So like,
I've
I don't know
tried,
anybody.
to reach out to everything. You know, I've even logged onto his MySpace. Can't get anything. You know.
Oh my gosh,
That's taken right there.
If you can't get it on MySpace, you're in trouble. So, all right, what we got?
Matt says, do you think hognose snakes are worth breeding? Didn't see many at the Arlington, Texas NARBC. Have a snow female and Arctic male, pink pastel albino.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly do.
Yeah.
You guys think
Absolutely.
so?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome animals.
We tried them for like a day.
Okay.
We just didn't get into them.
Right.
But we love them. They're awesome. Jeff over at JMG has like some.
Yeah, he's got great stuff. Yeah,
going
he's
on
got
with
all
them.
that Arctic stuff.
You have to have the time to start the babies because you have to start. Some of them you have to scent with all these different
they can be a little bit tricky.
fish scents and all this
But
stuff.
I think that I've always said they're a little bit like the ball python of the Kluber world. You know, they can be a little finicky, but they're really cool. People really love them. They've got a lot of different varieties out there now.
Ton of character.
So, yeah. So anyone that works with them loves them. So I think if you have a snow female, I would go for it.
Ethan says, what's up, Brian? Hope all is going well. When conditions improve, do you plan on visiting the snake discovery facility that opened up recently?
I didn't even know it opened up.
I've just seen the video
like
this
a couple
morning.
days ago or something.
Yeah.
Last I saw, the retail portion is open, but the zoo's still under construction.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so I honestly don't follow much of what's happening there. I love reptile zoos. If I get up into the Minnesota area, I'll certainly go pay them a visit. You know, Emily came and her husband came here once and visited us about maybe 2 years ago here. I'm assuming they were kind of scouting to see, you know, get ideas or whatever, which is completely fine, obviously. So, but yeah, I mean, I try to hit every reptile zoo I possibly can. I think the only problem with theirs is that it is off the beaten path pretty hard. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you can't. Like, hey, I'm on the way to Florida and I'm going to stop, you know, or I'm on the way to New York and I'm going to stop. You know, that's,
pretty much have to be there.
That's like 10 hours out of the way of anything else that I would ever be doing. So, but I think I would definitely go check it out. You know, why not? You know,
absolutely.
You know, I'm all about checking out any reptile zoo. I think I've been to every reptile zoo in the country. With the exception, I think there's one in I don't know if it's a really reptile zoo, but it has reptile stuff that's in the Ozarks.
Really?
But I don't even know what it is. You know, Eric and Mary went there, and when they were here. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I don't know anything. But other than that, I think I've been to every other reptile zoo in the country. So I'm sure I'll make my way to Emily's at some point.
That's supers for now.
Get your butts going on the super chats. Ask me questions. Ask Ben questions. Ask Ryan questions.
Yeah, drive the shit, baby.
Yeah, come on, baby. We need you guys. So let's.
I have a funny story. So the first time we met, and I tell this story every once in a while, but like, this is a great forum to tell. So the first time we met, after Ryan and I started our business and whatever, Ryan's like, "Hey Ben, since you suck at doing animals, and apparently, business wise, I'm like, nah." But you're really good at connecting stuff. So I network well.
Yeah.
That's like my thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, Ben,
by the way.
He's like, hey, Ben, I want to talk to this person. Let's go do, I said, sure, no problem. So I called BHB before you guys moved into this facility that you're at. And I was like, hey, we're going to go up to Tinley. Can we stop by?
Yeah.
And I forget if it was Lori or somebody was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, no big deal, not knowing what you're getting into, right?
Yeah.
And we came and it was great and we hung out and we said, yeah, we'll jump in, we'll help you pack and whatever. We did all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this is the fun time that we had that I learned that me and you really bonded was on the way up to Tinley. Yeah. It's snowing a bit.
Yeah, I remember this well. Yeah.
Always.
And there's an interchange and you're like, just make sure you don't lose me. I'm like, dude, you could not go fast enough for me to lose you because I'm that kind of driver.
Yeah.
And we pull onto this highway, and you're like, "There's always this one spot that's always a little weird." And I always end up, I almost miss it. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." So we're driving, and we get onto the highway, and it's like a 5-laner, and then all of a sudden you just cut across all of them.
I was like in the left lane. I was in the left lane. I call it the Lebanese swoop.
Yeah.
And you cut across all of them, and so and Ryan had that was a March one, a March Tinley.
It was a March,
so it was snowing. And
you guys hit that bank or something?
Yeah, Ryan had an all-wheel drive, like a little SUV. And so that's what we were driving because it was all-wheel drive. My car at the time wasn't. So we're coming over and you jumped the where the exit was just getting. So there wasn't like a curb or anything there.
Like
but
a snowbank or something, yeah.
So you hop it.
Yeah,
and I was like, right over, like right behind you. And I was like, I'm not going to you know, if he could do it in a van, I can do it.
I do remember hitting that and catching a little area.
Yeah. And so we hop over and Ryan's like, "Are you?" I'm like,
in the meantime, he's driving my car.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
seriously doing this right now?
Yeah, he
Like,
just like destroys
like,
out.
I
Yeah,
got it, I
destroys
got
the
it.
suspension out.
I was
Yeah.
like, I got no problem, man. So we get there and it was like nothing happened, and everybody's like, "What the heck?" Just and we're like, me and you're like, "That's how we drive."
That's
I'm
how
like,
you drive.
"That's
You
how
just
do
got
it."
to do it. You know,
It's
it's like I knew because of that exit, that interchange there, that if I missed it, it was like 20 miles out of the way.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
get, it's a really bad road because I've missed it before.
Yeah.
And it was like 20 miles out of the way. So I was like, I'm not missing this. I'm going over. I actually, ironically enough, just did that like 2 days ago. I did not that same interchange, but another one where I just like brain farted and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, whoop, 3 lanes over. But I looked in my rearview mirror first, but it was definitely not, I wouldn't suggest making a right turn from the far left lane at any time in your life. So, but that is
And
also
that's how
why,
we bonded.
and that's why I,
Your death
I'm-
experience, yeah.
and that's why I'm literally 1 ticket away from getting my license taken away. I literally am. I literally got a letter the other day that said,
No, you didn't.
oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
It's a classic.
So we're so bonded in that way. Like my one brother and one of my best friends, we from the start of driving, the 3 of us always got tickets like all the time.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, after like 18, 19 tickets, you're like, well, this is a contest now.
Oh gosh.
So we're always like, who's in the lead? And right now
man.
I think I'm tied for first.
Tied
like
first. That's never
40 written tickets. You
Oh
know?
my gosh.
And
it's not
but-
a game you want to win.
it's
No,
not a
it's
game
not,
you want
it's
to.
not,
It's like
no,
golf,
it's not,
really,
no,
but
no,
it's just one of those
yeah.
things. And funny story is, I had to go to court. Anybody's listening, go to court for your tickets.
Not financial
Okay.
advice.
You have to
True.
always go.
Yeah.
Always go to court for your tickets.
Yeah, because
Because
they'll knock the points off.
Yeah, it's possible, right? So I went and I was like, I'm gonna show them that I'm smart and all this stuff. And the lady pulls up. Back in the day, when they took your license abstract, it was actually just photocopies of all the tickets.
Oh.
And it was like a stack, like 1.5 inches thick
Oh, yeah,
of my tickets. And the lady looks at them and she doesn't even thumb through them. She just looks at them and goes, yeah, you're not going to get out of this one. And I'm like,
It's funny you say that because I went to court probably about 6 or 8 months before COVID. I went to it because I had a ticket, and it was a BS ticket. So listen, I'm driving in the right lane of the highway, doing I was doing like 72 and a 65, you know, which in
Which is
Michigan
fine.
is completely fine. And literally, a truck was passing me on the left, and a cop pulled me over. As a truck was passing me on the left, he pulled me over and gave me a ticket. So I was going to go to court because I'm like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? There's no way. I was only doing 5. And so I go in, and that's why I say, I go in and the judge says, I think it was a magistrate actually, said, so what do you have to say? And I said, well, I was literally doing, I said 5 over. I said, I was doing 5 over because when I looked down when he was in my rearview mirror, and she goes, oh, so you were speeding. And I go, well, yeah, I was going 5 over, but I was being passed by a truck on my left side. And she goes, with your record, you're not going to get anything off of this at all. And she goes, I'm gonna believe the cop over you with your record. And I was like, oh damn, I'm screwed, you know. So
The thing is, you don't drive like terribly fast or bad anyway.
that's what's weird.
Because like me and you would, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. It's wrong place, wrong time. Because you'll drive all
I drive
day,
fast.
I'll drive all night, and you'll get pulled over, but I won't.
Yeah, exactly.
Same speed.
Yeah, same speed. Yeah.
yeah, I drive fast. I can't.
Now I will say
Jersey.
we took a road which let's hit Jason really quick. Just keep the
You
supers
got it,
coming.
dude. Our buddy Jason from Morph Mixology says, "What's up, Snake Fam? Just got our is this Peggle mail? That's what it says. Peggle mail in from Canada. Finally, it's an Orange Dream HRA Phantom Freeway.
Het Ready Xanthic.
Ready
Phantom
Xanthic Freeway. Okay.
Wow.
Can't wait to put him to work.
That's awesome. You guys know Jason from Morph Mixology?
I watch the channel. I don't know
Yeah,
him
he's
personally.
We don't
he's
know
good.
him
He's good.
personally.
Great
He's-
dude,
He's
man.
a good dude, man.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
Great
man.
jerky.
You should,
Yeah, he's got really good jerky.
Great
What?
jerky.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, basically,
Ja-
I'm not
Jason,
even
you
sure
gotta
we.
really-
I'm not even sure we really like the guy, but we
Yeah,
love
but
his
the
jerky.
jerky's
all right,
important.
so hey,
No, he's a
Jason,
good-
reach out to us on Instagram.
Holla at your boys.
We'll trade you some snakes for
Find
your
us in
jerky.
the DMs.
Yeah, it's like no best jerky in the reptile game.
Yeah,
what
facts,
That's what I have to say. That's facts. No, he's a super good dude though. We're lucky to
We
have
like
him
his
as friends.
content.
Yeah, and he's got a nice collection and just a good dude, man, all around. But what was I gonna say? Dang it! I was gonna say something before I jumped. Yeah, you know, I lost.
You
my
know,
train.
yeah, I lost it too.
Lost my train of thought there.
I thought it had something. I don't know if
Yeah.
it had. I know what you're going to say. You said we were driving on a random road. somewhere.
Not a random.
Because we were talking about getting tickets, speeding.
Oh yeah. So we went on a road trip. Obviously, we did the 5,700 miles in an RV.
Yeah.
And so for the most part, we had a couple windy days where you couldn't go over 70 because you would be like a sail. But other than that, if the wind wasn't kicking, you could cruise 80 miles an hour and that no problem. So I drove a lot. I'm driving 80 miles an hour. Jason, do I say Jason?
I don't know. I like it though.
I know.
Sexy.
I'm like your mom now.
Yeah.
Jason.
Baby.
Jay drove a lot, 80, but then Anthony would drive. And every now and then I'd look at the speedometer. It'd be like 45 miles an hour. We're like in a 60 zone,
You're like, bro,
he's like
please.
45 miles an hour. I'm like,
We need to go to bed.
yeah, at least let's get to the speed limit,
I don't mind if you
But
speed.
sometimes he would just space out and be doing like
Sourfoot, man.
Yeah, it was really fun, but yeah,
in the
especially you
scenery.
know how when you go on, and it's the only time I get tickets is when I'm going on trips, because when you go, I always say, like, if I'm doing a 2-hour trip, I'm not speeding. I'm gonna go 7 or 8 miles over the speed limit, which isn't getting you pulled over here in Michigan.
But if it's a 17-hour trip.
17-hour trip. If you can do 12 miles over the speed limit, 17 hours, you've just saved yourself a lot of time.
Absolutely.
But that's when I get busted every single time.
So good.
But I didn't get a ticket in the RV.
No, we
which
didn't
is
even
surprising.
get pulled over ever.
Yeah, and there was a couple times I did have that sucker going 90 something.
Oh, we were crushing,
It
dude.
was
Dude,
crazy.
mountain
you
roads.
save yourself time on the trip, but then you got 20, 25 minutes on the side of the road being pulled over.
Yeah,
Getting
I
the
know,
tickets.
I know.
Hey, I mean, those are them
It equals
breaks.
out.
It's unfair. They should know. They should let me go.
Yeah.
What
Terry
cares
says,
that?
I don't remember what the name of the place is called, but he was a great guy. The guy that ran the one in the Ozarks moved to Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Interesting.
Reptile Zoo.
Okay, yeah, that was a zoo that we were talking about. He moved to Arizona. Interesting. Have you guys been to Phoenix Herp Zoo by any chance?
No, not yet.
Haven't
You
made it.
guys could be
We
so
were
cool.
talking
Oh,
about-
sick, dude.
It's a cool place, man. It's
After
people,
COVID,
too.
we've been talking about starting to do more traveling and thinking
Yeah,
that
now
we
that-
need to go over that way.
Yeah. I know you're fully vaccinated. You're
Yeah,
going
man.
to be hopefully someday.
Man, I've already gotten it, so I'm ready for round 2 of like getting it again.
Getting it
Whatever.
again. You just want to add
Start-
to the numbers.
Yeah,
is what it is.
yeah. Just
Like,
start. It's
Collecting vaccines.
I'm like, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Like today on my mug of tea, I was drinking tea this morning. I drank something. I was like, is my lip bleeding? And Ryan goes, no. I was like, oh, well, then there definitely was lipstick already on this. mug.
Oh,
That's
good.
But I
perfect.
was
That's the way
like,
to go.
okay,
but I'm
it's a
vaxxed,
diner.
baby.
Yeah. I'm all vaxxed up. You can't.
Probably
you
not
can't-
COVID.
you can't-
He's doing the
Probably
Pokemon. He's
not.
got to catch them all.
Gotta catch
Gotta
him.
catch 'em.
Yeah. Well, I collect viruses in my body as well. So I'm one of the fortunate ones that had H1N1, and now I've had.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
COVID.
striving
that
for
one
Ebola,
Yeah,
too,
so,
which
yeah,
is great.
yeah. Next one's Ebola.
That's why I can't wait to get to Africa.
Let's try to skip that one.
Yeah, that one might be.
The blood out of the ear is a
I
little
think they have a
off-putting.
vaccine for that now, so it's all good, man. We're good to go.
Let Roses Burn says, do you already have or would you get any Bowers chameleon geckos? I just recently saw them.
Oh, yeah,
Very
they're really
pretty Caledonia species.
Very cool, actually. Super, super cool. You can punch that up if you'd like. I mean, they're really cool. As a matter of fact, Jessica was just talking about this
remember
a
that.
few weeks back, saying that I don't know who has them available.
Wow, they are
but they're
sick, huh?
really, really beautiful. Again, I don't know that I've ever. Have you guys ever seen them available?
Sweet.
'Cause
Wow.
I haven't.
Steve have them?
Those are tight.
might.
dude.
I didn't see. He didn't have them when I was there, so I don't know if he's gotten
He
them
has
since.
a lot of. He has a lot.
He'd be the best bet, but I'm not sure.
You know,
Yeah.
what's his name up in Canada might too.
Is that Brandon? Is that?
No, what's his name? Scott. Oh, now I feel bad. He's not watching. He
Yeah,
doesn't watch
Canadians
that
don't watch anyways.
Well,
That's all right.
But yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
They're in quarantine. They're
Yeah,
not allowed
yeah,
to
they're
watch.
not allowed to watch TV.
They're not allowed to watch TV.
Get away from your family.
Can't do anything.
Nick says, thanks for the info. Looking to get into Brazilian rainbows. Any recommendations on build cages? You and Jay keep up the good work and killer vlogs.
Thank you so much. What do you
Thanks,
guys think as far as build cages? I mean, who do you guys like?
I don't know. Our go-to is sea serpents, but I don't know if he's doing those publicly. Like
Oh, okay.
he usually
Yeah.
just does racks, but I know we can go to him and ask him to build us a custom build. But
You know what
Yeah.
I saw on Instagram today? I'd never heard of them before, and I unfortunately I don't know what the name is because it was an ad of all things that came up, but it was PVC, but they look like wood, and they looked really
Oh, yeah.
cool. They looked super, super cool, but they were PVC.
that's pretty cool.
And so maybe you can check out, search Instagram for something like that if you want something that looks more wood-like. If not,
That's dope,
there's
yeah.
a lot of things. Like I think, I don't know if Rich from Reptile Basics does. I know he does racks. I don't know if he does
Animal
cages.
plastics. Animal plastics.
Yeah, animal plastics. Yeah, the problem with the animal plastics, and by no means am I bashing them,
No.
they just are really slow.
The lead
I mean,
time
like,
is
yeah,
tremendous.
like I mean, everyone I know that deals with them is like they like the product and they're great people. It's just like, my gosh, I paid for this 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and I still haven't got
That's
it.
tough.
You know, it's tough. You know, that's a lead time that's just ridiculous. So, and then of course, you know, the go-to for a long time was Vision Cages, but then they got bought by Custom Cages, which I think now is reptilecages.com or something like that. Yeah. And then they jacked the price like 300%.
Yeah, they are very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you used to be able to buy like $100, you know, 24-inch Vision Cage. Now it's like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally tripled the price, you know. So now I think they have a different mark. They're not looking for the reptile breeder, so to speak. They're looking for the guy that's going to put his cage in there.
They want something in the living room that looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I think it was weird that they bought Vision Cages, because Vision Cages I didn't think looked very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they were good, decent cages that like had practicality because they were easy to clean and all that type of stuff, but they didn't. They looked plastic.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, they looked very plastic,
very industrial.
Yeah, so I don't know why Custom Cages even bought them, but yeah.
Zane says, "Hey, do you have any suggestions for buying an enclosure for a grown female boa constrictor that are cheaper than some?"
It's
literally what we're talking about.
Ironically, we're just talking about it.
DIY, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that building your own cages, you can buy PVC sheets at Home Depot, and they'll cut them, and they'll cut them for you. You know, just get your sizes, cut them. They, you know, screw them together. You can drill them, screw them. Very easy. Countersink your screws.
Go check out Jason from Morph Mixology's DIY videos.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a perfect lead in. Just, you know, just don't subscribe to him because
yeah.
nobody likes that guy.
Yeah.
Just
my beef jerky.
one click and leave.
No. Please go check out. I agree. He built some really cool cages as well. So he does like the DIY stuff on his channel. So you can find out how to build it yourself, save yourself a shitload of money, and have whatever size you want. You know, be completely custom. So I think that's a great idea.
This is a fist fighting.
What we got?
Jay says, "Hey Brian, Jay, Ben, and Ryan, how are your lorry projects looking this year?" Boom, 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 boom.
We are gonna smoke, Brian.
Ooh, them's just fighting words, boys.
Tell you what. Every lorry ball I produce is going in the freezer this year. No, it's looking good for us. I mean, I'm excited for what you guys do. I think that you guys have some really cool stuff too. So
the leopard lorry stuff is really cool. I'm
like
definitely
that.
when you produce a super lorry leopard, we're like, oh freak.
Yeah,
Like, and every time you produce something cool, we're like, are we going in the right direction? Like, you know,
well, I think there's so many directions, and that's the thing, because the project has been around forever, but is really so new.
The sky is the limit.
You know, who knows what you're going to get? You know, I mean,
agree.
it's like, you know, we both got into banana stuff. I think that looks really cool. I'd like to see what the future of that is. I really want to see what a super lorry pied is going to look like.
I don't think anybody has it into a recessive yet.
No, yeah, I mean, pied, clown. You know, I mean, all that stuff is
Sunset.
Sunset.
that could be
exactly.
cool.
Who knows?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I was like, oh, we should really get into puzzle. I mean, really. I think
That'd be interesting, actually. That'd be an interesting.
Don't bring up that project.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for the
Well, actually, it's funny. I used to not like puzzle stuff, but I actually have become pretty fond of it now.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't like it because of Sean, but I like it because of Will. From
Yeah. Exactly. Sean's were terrible, but they're really nice.
Yeah.
No, but to be totally honest with you, I used to really rip Miguel tremendously because he spent a bunch of money to get into puzzles.
Yeah.
And what I always said, and we were actually out, we were in Florida, and I kept ripping out of him. I'm like, you just paid $20,000 for a couple normal snakes, you know, stuff like that. And so what happens is like, he's like, they're not normal. I'm like, to any normal person that isn't in the reptile hobby, it's a normal ball python. That's got a cool pattern.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't, blah, blah, blah. So everywhere we would stop, I would literally make him show like random people a normal in a puzzle and say, do you see the difference between these two snakes? And every single person was like, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
Classic.
But I'll be honest with you, I've seen some really cool puzzle mutations that are pretty damn dope.
Yeah, they're dope.
So I become a puzzle fan. Will I buy into them? No, because that's not my world. You know, I don't want to buy investment stuff. When they came down under $1,000 or something, I'll buy into them because I think they're really cool to play with. Yeah. But I don't want a $10,000 snake. Like if I produce a $10,000 snake, I'm keeping it because I'm not going to try to sell it.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I don't do investment quality animals anymore. So just because that's just not my world, I let everyone else do that. That's fine. I want to produce stuff that is like, my wheelhouse is $100 to $700.
Yeah.
Because that's like the pet trade, and that's where I want to live. You know.
It's a great market in that area.
Yeah, because I always tell people there's nothing wrong with going to the investment world. I did it for a long time. So if I was bitching about it, I'd be a hypocrite because, you know, that's what I did for 20 plus years. So I'm not bitching at that. I've just decided to move away from that personally. But, you know, I've said, how many people do you think, I mean, a guesstimate, do you think that are into ball pythons in the United States, investment ball pythons? I mean, just a guesstimate, just a guesstimate.
200,000.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
I mean, I think there's
that.
What, 1.5 million actual reptile people on the books as pet people.
Yeah, I think that depending on which study you go from, it's somewhere from 1.5 million to 4 million people that are keeping reptiles.
Like 2 million.
Yeah. So that's my point. Let's say 2 million. Let's split it. Say 2 million people keep reptiles, or families keep reptiles. And I think that number could actually be even higher than that with all the pet code and PetSmart and all that other stuff. But let's just say 2 million. That's my point. Do you want to market to 10%? Or do you want to market to 2 million? Do you want to market to 200,000?
Yeah.
Or do you want to market to 2 million? You know,
Absolutely.
And so to me, the 2 million is where I want to live. And the other thing is I did really feel bad when I did sell someone a $25,000 snake and they didn't make their money back. Now, it was really I think in my career, anyways, almost every time I can think of someone that didn't make their money back, it was kind of their fault more than my fault. We all know prices are going to come down, but if you buy a $25,000 snake and it goes down to $5,000, that's a considerable drop. But if you produce 5 of them, you broke even.
Yeah.
And now you produce 10 of them, you just made a bunch of money. You made $50,000. You know, if you didn't produce or the animal died, then you've lost your money.
That's
and
tough.
That's not really necessarily my fault.
Well, you got to weigh out your
risk.
risk when you're doing those type of investments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people think about it. Really, they think, oh, everybody else is doing it. It's just drop some money, you get some money back. You know?
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's why I stopped doing investment stuff, is because over the 20-something years I was involved, I saw so many people really make bad choices. And really get hurt. I always say the people that make the most money are the guy in the very top or the second tier. Yeah. Once you get to the third tier, you're getting hurt. And then once you get to the 5th or 6th tier, now you're back and making money again.
It starts dropping off real fast.
Yeah, you know, so you at least when you get down to that 5th or 6th tier, at least the money has come down to the point where you're not going to get rich, but you're going to make your money back.
Over time,
but that 3rd, 4th tier, that's a dangerous tier. That's the tier that you got to be careful of, because that's when that precipitous drop goes.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what we got called into that a little bit, where we're like, do you want to dip your toe into like a new project or whatever, and then like.
You get caught holding the bag.
Yeah, you get caught holding the bag like every time.
I think Mike Wilbanks was always really smart about that, in the sense that, like, when he wanted to get into the new project, he would overpay to be the first guy in, knowing that he was going to make the most money if he was the first guy in. Outside of, like, not the first guy, but the second guy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what he did with the scaleless ball pythons, right? He called me up and he said, "I'll pay you more than anybody else, but you can't sell them to anyone else this year. I'm buying every single one." And he made, he told me he made $1 million profit from scaleless head ball pythons.
That's great.
Obviously Sean was one of them. One of the 50,000 that led it. He was 5% of that. That $1 million. So
there's a lot of power having control of the narrative of projects. So getting in at the top level,
Yeah, there is, and that's where it is. But I just don't know. I just didn't want to play that game anymore. I played it for a long time. It was really good to me, and it was really bad to me. It was both sides of it. But now I love, and the other thing, now I love that it doesn't. I always say, you guys know this. Like, if let's say you produce 6 eggs from this Lori project, that's and you've got a 1 in 6 odds to produce it. Every egg you cut is like, oh shit.
Yep.
And then if you miss, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta wait till next year. I don't have that anymore. Like I'm like, might be disappointed, like, oh, I really wanted to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
But there's no like financial investment into it at all. Like I don't worry. Like if that clutch is worth $500 or $50,000, doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. I don't look at. There's never a snake I look at now as money ever. You know what I mean? It's worth money. But I don't look at it that way. I have Lori and my staff look at it that way. I just look at them as cool snakes, and that's just been a thing for me. So
I'm gonna go to Jason's first real fast. Morph Mixology. He wanted to say that the cages that looked like wood are the Toad Ranch, those guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Toad Ranch. You nailed
He's
it,
so
Jason.
good.
Yeah, That's what makes you so special. But yeah, it was Toad Ranch, and they were cool. You want to pull it up?
Yeah,
Pull up
dude.
Toad Ranch cages. I mean, they were pretty dope. I liked them. Here we go.
Oh wow, yeah, those are
Yeah, I mean,
sick.
and they're
Look at the
they're
gray.
yeah,
That's cool.
Because then you can like if you wanted to destroy your house a little bit, you sink that into a wall. It almost looks like a picture frame.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh,
super
that's a cool
cool,
idea.
and yeah, and
Damn, that's
and they're
badass.
PVC. They're not wood, so they can't
You
distort.
think that's
or-
just a laminate on the
It's
top
probably a
of it?
laminate. So when we were looking
idea.
into
It's a pretty cool idea.
when we were
It's
looking
great,
into to doing cages with universal rocks, we were using PVC, and you can get them in pink polka dots and
Yeah.
everything, and it's just literally something that you iron onto it. And it stays forever. It doesn't peel off. It's really good. And it's a I can't remember what the coating is called, but there was like two. You could get like blue metallic. You
Oh,
could
wow.
get anything, any
Yeah.
color you wanted. You could add to the PVC, and it was just like it wasn't. I think it was a heat gun that you actually put it on, so it like shrink wrap. It's like a car wrap.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Vinyl
same-
wrapping.
Yeah, it's like a vinyl wrapping, and so I'm sure that's what it does. So thanks, Jason, for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Becky came back to say, "What is your favorite memory as a child with snakes?" And all of you can answer that if
Yeah,
you'd
why
like
don't you start, because I know you've been a reptile guy.
Well, as a child, I have no favorite ones because I was terrified of them.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that I liked reptiles. I mean, let me dial that back a little bit. I was super into dinosaurs and stuff as a kid,
Okay,
and
yeah.
way into animals in general. I
Right.
was going to be a marine biologist or
Oh,
paleontologist, all that
nice.
stuff, but never had really any exposure to reptiles.
Interesting.
Except, I was, herping in my backyard, like looking around for animals in like a wood pile.
Yeah.
Found a aluminum can that was empty. I was like, oh, cool. What's this? Shook it around. There's something in it. Look at it. Garter snake jumps out right in my
Oh
face.
my
like,
gosh.
obviously, it was trying to get away. It wasn't trying to
Sure,
jump at my
yeah,
face,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like I was 8 years old. I was like, ran back to the house. Didn't go back out for the rest of the day. So
Oh
like,
my gosh.
kind of like put off a little bit by that experience. But then,
Yeah.
I was probably like 18 or 19 or something. One of my buddies owned a pet store and he needed somebody to help him vend Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up babysitting a ball python for him the whole day. And
That was it.
ended up buying it because
Yeah.
it kept trying to get out of the container.
Yeah.
So I had it around my neck all day and everybody was coming up, oh, can I check it out and all this
Yeah.
stuff? Let me hold it. And fell in love. So bought my first normal male ball python. That's
Isn't that
it. And
something?
awesome,
it
man.
went
That's cool,
downhill.
though.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and for me, I think it's a similar thing without the Coke can. Ours that I used to just go out into the woods every day in the summertime. That's all I did was we had woods right down the block, and this was during a area of time when even when I was 4 years old, I could disappear for 6 hours, and my mom would never care. And they would just be like, oh yeah, he's just outside somewhere. I don't know where, but he's deep in the woods. And it was pretty dangerous now that I think about it. But yeah, I used to catch snakes just all day long. I mean, that's all I would do.
That's cool.
And ironically enough, the place, our little vacation spot. Did I tell you this, Jay?
Let me hear this.
Literally, I was,
Oh yes, I think you did.
I was there, and I walked out back by the lake, and garter snake right at my feet.
And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, literally, first time I went out back. I mean, first
That's a
time
good
I
sign,
went out
man.
back, there's a garter snake cruising. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, I caught it, and I showed Lori, and it mussed on me a little bit, and I
your
was
blood
super,
flowing.
super excited, man.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
That's cool. That means
So-
a lot of good herping to come in that
there's
area.
a lot.
you know?
Yeah, the guy that owned the place before us told us that there's tons of snakes. He's like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, you'll see snakes here all the time, and I'm like, great.
yeah. The one person that's
awesome.
like,
He's like trying to
finally.
warn you.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone else is like, "Oh, there's too many snakes." I'm like, "There can never be too many
Yeah,
snakes."
let's get some more.
It's, so it's. I can't wait to get out there. Actually, I'm going to go Monday, so hopefully the weather will cooperate and I can get out into the woods a little bit. It'd be the first time I caught my first snake, but it was in the backyard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty nature there, but it's still my backyard. The woods are right across the street, and I can't wait to get into them, see what's up there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you have any memories of animals?
So I mean, I was I liked animals, I guess, as a kid, but I was never a reptile
Yeah.
guy or anything. And I wasn't ever afraid of snakes. My grandmother, it's a crazy, weird story, but my grandmother won the lottery when I was real little,
Holy cow!
and millions of dollars.
my
And
gosh.
she's a crazy animal lady. Like, spent it all on. She bought a horse farm up in
Oh wow!
upstate New York, and
Ooh, hell yeah.
we would go up there a few times, and she just would buy animals and just have them. So it wasn't like she was doing anything to earn money in any way with that way. And there's a lot more personal story, but so we were up there once, and my cousin found like some black racers, like little snakes, and he was like, "Wow, they're like everywhere." They must have been like, I don't know, but we started just catching them, and we put them into a big,
and they're feisty too.
Yeah, but we were little. They weren't really biting us, and they were little. So we were just catching them, and we put them into like this big trash can. There's probably like 30 of them. Or something like that we caught, and we brought them inside the house to show our parents. Like, look at these. And my aunt, terrified of snakes, she freaks and she like jumps, and my cousin drops the trash can and dumps them into the house. So like all of a sudden there's all these little black racers, and they're like, woo, and we're like,
fast.
Whoa, we're like, I'm laughing. I was like 5 or 6 years old. Like I was little.
That's a good story.
It was a funny story, but
oh my gosh,
I don't know what happened to those.
Yeah, they're probably still there. They're literally breeding in that house as we speak. Yeah.
Josh at Pale Scales says, I got myself a phantom leopard het pied male who is 200 grams and ready to go. Money aside, what female would you pair him with?
That's a big male. Gosh, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Leopard.
Phantom leopard, het pied. I mean, obviously you want to do something that's going to be pied.
Should definitely get a monsoon pied to put it to.
Oh, monsoon pied would be really nice. Yeah, money wasn't an option.
What's the budget?
We'll be doing the Lori. Do something Lori would be great.
Yeah,
and send it to us. Yeah, please. Promote.
I think I would go like a desert ghost pied, like something double recessive. Try to get into.
It really depends on the budget, man. Like
well, he said money aside, so I think you could do it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Money aside to a point, though.
yeah. But a desert ghost pied isn't that bad. It's not that bad. And like you said, then you have the leopard stuff into it. Desert ghost stuff is really great, and then you have the phantom stuff that's kind of lightens things up.
Make sure you have pastel in there.
Yeah. Probably pastel.
And desert ghost doesn't go to. Really well.
Yeah, that's true. So that's a good options.
Castilla says, Brian, have you heard anything about the bill passed or not in North Carolina? Also, can I get in the cage with Ivy?
There's a good chance we could do something for you with Ivy. It just depends on where she's at and what's going on. I know that Castilla said she's going to come visit us here soon. I think in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's not even
a
couple days away.
It's not far. But as far as the bill, I haven't heard.
Did the bill pass?
I don't think it passed. I think it's still in committee. If I'm not mistaken.
Animal educator bill you're talking
animal
about?
Educator bill. Yeah. So I know USARK's had quite a bit of struggle this year.
They have been putting in so many bills this year. They're going after it for sure.
Never more than this year. I mean, this has been an insane. We're only 3 months into the year. I mean, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like what we're getting, an onslaught. The good news is we beat every single one of them.
Yeah.
The
problem is
except for the Florida one. Florida one didn't go so well, but that was
Florida's a hard
that's
one
more
too.
FWC than it is anything. Now I know that do you guys know anything that's the Rubio proposed thing for Lacey? Are they anywhere with that?
I haven't heard them move on it. No,
I haven't, but I was told that it's going to be like very hard battle for them because so some of the stuff is affects other pet markets,
right?
And so it's going to be an uphill battle for that, I think.
Right. Let's hope.
And then once you start throwing the stifling small businesses into the whole equation, I think he would back off that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're going on a federal level because they have to go through a budgetary committee that they do if there is a financial
economic
hardship.
hit.
If it costs more than X amount, I think it's like $50 million a year in small businesses, then the bill gets trashed. So that was one of the things that happened. We were working really diligently hard on the initial Lacey Act, the NOI, was the economic damage, but we couldn't prove because Burmese really weren't making people the kind of money say ball pythons would be making people. You could definitely, if you outlawed ball pythons, it would certainly surpass the budgetary constraints that the government can put on people with laws. So we'll just keep going and keep on donating to USARK, man.
Yeah, and if I can talk a little just real quick.
Yeah,
not just thinking about just reptiles. There's other pet things that are going on, like in New York. They banned, and this is a little while ago now, they banned the sale of rabbits, dogs, and cats in pet stores, right?
Yeah, I heard this,
so you can't go to a pet store and everyone's like, oh, that's great, because then you have to get them from a rescue or shelter or something. The problem is once you stop that, you're starting to destroy other things that the pet stores are selling. So, right, that's the bread and butter for them.
Yeah.
And so then they're going to stop selling like cat food and dog food and stuff like that. And all of a sudden these little pet stores are going to start going away and the shelters are going to be out of them.
Yeah.
You know, and you end up getting rid of all that animal there. And it's a foothold.
Yeah.
For when you start, so as reptile people, we're always like, oh man, let's fight for reptiles.
Yeah.
But you also have to be mindful of the other pets that are like, these are major steps to cut the bread and butter best selling pets in the country out of all pet stores in New York is like,
major
deal.
Chicago's the same way, by the way. Chicago's got the
major
same bill.
deal.
Yeah, you can't sell a dog or a cat.
Then all that stuff starts disappearing by attrition because all those animals have to be spayed or neutered. So no more will be produced. You can't buy them. So they'll all die off. Then all the extra stuff that the pet people need, like even for reptiles, the stores will shut down and you won't be able to get the stuff you need to take care of your pet. So then it's less easy to have a pet. No, it's a snowball. We got to fight as for all the rights of all animals. There's no doubt about it. And I find it interesting too because shelters charge for dogs and cats. They just say it's a donation. It's they don't put a price on it, but you got to give a donation that is about the same as what you buy at a pet shop. So it's a little bit of a weird thing. Not bashing on shelters at all because most shelters are really good. Yeah, we need
not
them
all.
for sure.
Yeah, not all shelters, but most shelters are very good. But it's a slippery slope, and what we have to understand is that whether it's reptiles or dogs or cats, it is really just being pushed by an agenda to an anti-pet advocacy group, right? So there's a ton of anti-pet advocacy groups that their whole idea. I mean, people don't know, but the HSUS, the Humane Society of the United States, literally does not want people to own a dog or a cat. They think it's so here we
they're on the record saying it.
Yeah, they're on the record saying that Wayne Purcelli has said he doesn't think that having a dog or a cat it's a captivity and that they should not be in captivity. And if people knew that, they would stop donating hundreds of millions of dollars to the HSUS. Now that's not the Humane Society. Your local chapter, totally different. Most of the local chapters are amazing. They're good animal people, but the U.S. chapter.
Future Reptarian employee says, just for love.
This is a great guy.
Brian, I was spreading a message of love at the Orlando Repticon today, wore my RJ sweater, and had people asking questions. Jay, you the man, and what is up, guests? Stay awesome, guys.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Man. So that's awesome. Repticon in Orlando. I'm glad that, it's fucking Florida. You know what I mean?
They've been open for ever. Did they ever close?
They were closed for 12 days. They were closed for 12 days. But yeah, no, it's good to see. It was funny. I don't know if you guys are I'm not a horse race guy at all, but my stepdad was, so I kind of know a little bit about horse racing, just because I was around it. But today was Kentucky Derby.
Oh, wow!
I didn't know it was today. I knew it was coming up.
Yeah, it was today. I don't know who won. Of course, they say the most exciting 60 seconds in sports, right? But I saw some live feeds of the Churchill Downs, and not a mass to be seen. 100% capacity, not a mass to be seen.
It's such a weird thing because
wild,
how do you
right?
pick? Do you have to pay for the position to be 6 feet apart of each rider, or what?
Exactly.
Social distance the riders.
It's really weird that they literally came in first, second, and third 6 feet apart. It was really third place was 18 feet behind the first place person.
Rigged.
It's crazy how it worked that way.
All the jockeys had hazmat suits on, so they were good.
Exactly. Yeah, big old respirators, and but I think it's. Listen, I don't want to get into a debate about mask or no mask, but it makes me feel good when I see a place that's like normal, completely normal. Even the reporters didn't have masks on. Normally reporters are like, oh, we better wear masks.
Just for that.
It was like you would not have thought there was so. It gives me hope that maybe the future is getting better, and I can guarantee you at Repticon, maybe not in Orlando because Orlando does still have some mask mandates, but you have a show in Fort Lauderdale. There ain't going to be a mask in that place.
There's the Arlington show. I didn't see the very.
Exactly. I mean, I saw the auction. I saw a lot of Insta stories at the auction. I didn't see any masks there, man. It was just like I'm like, oh my god, I want to be there so bad, especially now that we're immunized and you're bulletproof because you're. You took the COVID shot.
Scared.
Yeah, you're like.
We were just talking last night when we went out to dinner. Like, I just realized since COVID happened, it was the first time I actually had dinner in a restaurant with friends.
Isn't that wild?
Because we can't really do that in New Jersey. So
well, you can now, but it was been a long
little
time.
bit, but
wow, that's crazy.
A little bit, yeah. It's Yeah, I mean it's something I've only done a couple times. I mean, quite frankly, I haven't been out, but I think I will do more now. I want to do more now. I really do. Especially
you're
now
vaccinated. I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
It
Which, by the way,
safer.
Jay, I called my mom's
nice.
place today,
Nice,
and they
dude.
said I can visit her.
Are you excited?
Awesome.
Yeah, so I can go visit my
Congratulations,
mom.
man. That's
Of
awesome.
course, I've got to wait the 14 days. So I'm whatever, not even 7 days in yet. So I still have about eight or 9 days left before I can go visit my mom for
That's
the
so
first
cool,
time
though.
in 14 months. So
That's awesome.
So it's I was just happy to when I called. I was worried about them saying, "Oh, sorry, we're still going to be strict." She's like, "No, as long as you're vaccinated, you can come. That'd be great."
That's great.
And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh,
I
amazing.
can't wait to go
I-
hug my mom. It'll
So you're
be
gonna be
amazing.
vaccinated. I'm like, look, I can take pictures of me licking tables like in
Yeah,
public,
exactly.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, if you could do that.
Well, I used to do that before COVID. too, so-
No, just
They're
Yeah.
tasty, man.
Yeah, I remember being on the subway with you once and you licking the pole.
free
It was
candy.
really weird.
Doorknob licker. This guy.
Yeah, it was weird. Simple man.
Simple Man's in the building. He threw 20 to say, hope you all have a great night. I'm having some car problems right now, but just wanted to say, great
man.
podcast.
Well, I hope
Oh,
that
what-
your car problems go away. There's nothing
dude.
worse than car problems.
yeah.
Oh, boy, Dev.
Ooh, wow, boy, Dev. He says, what's going on, guys? Finally caught another live. Miss you,
Well,
man.
yeah, Dev is a local guy that has a bunch of cool snakes, but also
Super
keeps a
passionate, yeah.
really cool red-throated king cobra.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's
cool.
it's named Taco.
Yeah,
Was that the guy you had on the vlog?
Yeah.
Cool.
His name is Taco.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well,
well,
Dev is named Dev. But
his name's Burrito.
The snake is named Taco. He's a cool dude, man. He's a real passionate guy, so it's nice to have him around. He's a lot older than I thought too. I think.
How old is he?
I swear to gosh,
I would say 21.
Yeah, I swear to gosh, I saw it was like his 25th birthday or something.
No way, really?
I could be completely out of my mind, but when I saw it was his birthday a few weeks back, and it was like 25 or whatever, I was like, wow, I didn't expect him to be, because
I thought he was young, man.
Yeah,
well,
he
not
seems
that
young.
25 is
but
young,
but he's a real good guy. He's a good dude, man.
Let Roses Burn says, didn't get to Repticon this weekend, but the cool thing is you have to buy time slots. The tickets are for 2 hours only to limit number of people.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what state that's. Do you remember? She's Ohio, right? Is that?
Roses Burn, maybe Indiana. I'd have to look.
I thought
don't
that
remember
Let
off the
Roses
top of my head.
Burn was in Ohio.
That's interesting. I wonder if that would like make people like, well, I got to buy something right now. Like if it would
Right.
rush.
Yeah.
a
But it
sale.
would also, to me, the only problem with that would also be like, what if you had the 2 to 4 o'clock time slot? You'd be like, all the good shit's gone.
Yeah,
you know what I
could
mean?
be.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
You
at
got
a
to buy
reptile
VIP
show,
still.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reptile shows, it's because obviously we do time slots here, but we don't sell anything. I mean, you come at 4
You're
o'clock,
getting the
you
same
come at
thing,
8
yeah.
o'clock, you get the exact same experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea for a reptile show in a state that is restricted, but I don't think I think I'd want the early time slot.
Yeah.
yeah,
You got to pre-order, man.
yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Know what you want and pre-order.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I don't think that. No, I shouldn't. I was going to say I don't think that I've ever went to a reptile show and spontaneously bought something.
I've seen,
but
you
I
do that.
have. I have. Yeah, I have.
Like,
I
hey,
have.
Brian, there's some Cribos over here. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Let's buy 'em
exactly,
all.
yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's one of the only reasons why I want to go to, not necessarily the June Schomburg show, but the or October Tinley show.
Yeah.
because I just like to buy some stuff.
Go browse around a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, I think that
It's
it'd be
fun.
great to. I've never went to an NARBC that I didn't vend. So I mean,
wow.
to walk around would be crazy.
By the way,
I mean?
Let Roses Burn is from Florida.
Florida. Why did I think she was from Ohio?
I don't know why. I thought she was from Midwest somewhere too.
Time slots in Florida.
So why would there be time slots in Florida? That's
interesting.
weird. Maybe Orlando, because Orlando
It's not
is,
impossible.
Is that's the only county in Florida that is
Maybe
is
an insurance
remains-
thing,
Yeah, or it could even be the actual Repticon. Just
Could be.
they might do it on their own, because all businesses, even in Texas and Florida, they can still mandate whatever they want, restrictions, whatever they want. Because I know there was a show in, I want to say, some state. Oh gosh, I just heard about this recently. There was a reptile show in a state that had like no mask mandates, and they still mandated masks, and they took like tons of grief because they wouldn't let anyone in without a mask, and everyone was like, "Fuck masks," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just heard about this a couple weeks back, but
That's pretty ballsy.
yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, I think good for you. I
Yeah.
mean, just stick to your things, and listen, we'll hopefully be out of this shortly. And
Only a couple months till we're at full capacity.
Yeah, full capacity, at least in New York.
Yeah.
Let's see if we'll get
Everybody
anywhere else.
follows
It's funny. I just was reading today what they were saying, that they felt that we were at an inflection point, right? That inflection point for the virus was probably within 2 to 3 weeks, where they would see a precipitous drop of infections and deaths. And by the way, Israel, who I've been saying is who we should be looking at right now. It's more dangerous to go to a religious event in Israel than it is to get COVID,
dude.
That was a really bad joke.
Yeah,
sorry. Was that too soon?
Let's back off that one.
Too soon. Yeah, cut
I'm
that.
not laughing.
Can you cut that out?
I don't know if I can.
Do we have a delay on this?
Yeah, can we cut that? But no, my point is that the last 2 days, Israel's had one death.
Oh well, they're pretty much fully
death.
vaccinated.
Yeah, they're like 85% vaccinated.
Yeah.
One
awesome.
death a day.
That's
one
great,
death
though.
a day.
That's
And
awesome.
but this is my point. Does this not prove that vaccines work?
Yep.
You know what I mean? They were. It's not like they were getting crushed, but they were pretty. They were getting hit pretty hard. And literally since vaccinations, they went to one death a day.
pretty
I think
good.
they had 34 cases.
That's crazy.
34 in the entire country.
Wow.
That's great.
34
And they're
cases.
obviously gathering in like huge numbers too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like
100,000
they're back
people.
to normal. I mean, there's no mass, there's no anything in Israel now. They're completely back to normal,
Yep.
and they're having one death a day. And that one death is probably still a straggler from whatever.
So you're saying we got a shot.
yeah,
we
they're
can pull
saying-
out of this one.
There's actually multiple shots.
I think that we're saying, we need 2 shots. But trust me, by me just saying that, there's going to be 800 comments about what an
You
asshole.
idiot!
You
Can't believe you want microchips in your butthole, man.
Yeah, I bet you like Hitler too, don't
Yeah,
you? You
yeah.
know, stuff like that,
It's crazy.
Government control.
Yeah.
We have all of our microchips sitting on the table right now with your phones, man.
We talk about it all the time, dude.
I said this. I think I said this on the vlog or on the podcast last week. If the government came out right now and said, Brian, we can microchip you right now, and when you walk into a store, they're going to say, "Hey, Mr. Barczyk, I really know that you like this type of clothes. They're right over here, and when you're done, just go ahead and scan your hand and walk out the door."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Put that chip in my arm.
Give me
right
that
now.
chip, baby.
Put that chip.
Come on,
'Cause,
daddy.
the only people that don't want a chip are someone that's doing something illegal. You know what I mean? I don't care if the government knows what I'm doing. I got nothing.
They already
to
know anyway.
And they already know because of our phone. But I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm not.
I still don't want the chip. I'm not doing anything legal. I mean, I work for the government, and I'm like,
I would love that.
they know
chip,
lots
man.
about me, but
I can probably buy a chip off of eBay and like you can fall asleep and I'm like,
So you guys know about
This guy.
Neuralink? With
Yeah,
yeah. I
Would
can't
you
wait.
guys do it? I
Hook
would
me
do
up.
it. Right.
It's interesting.
Upload me, man.
I'll
I'm
be
saying-
first adapter.
I am ready to be uploaded.
And because I'm an anxiety sufferer, it would cure my anxiety
Yeah.
and depression
Immediately.
completely gone.
Yep.
I'm in. If
Yeah,
I can
sure.
wake up every day feeling like a cyborg, I'm in, man.
baby.
You kidding me?
Sign me up.
And I go like, oh man, I don't know how to speak German. Oh yes, I do.
Now you do.
Now I do.
Guten
That's
Tag.
What? You know Kung Fu?
good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kung Fu. Yeah, exactly. Like the Matrix. Yeah,
Oh, my
load up that program, baby. I'm going to do it.
I agree,
I'm going to
bro.
be Bruce
That's
Lee.
so funny.
Little Bogus says, "Do you think we will ever go back to blowing out birthday candles?" Great question.
Man, I get skeeved out already.
Oh yeah, it's like honestly, do we need
I
to?
do.
Yeah,
No,
interesting.
we should, because
It's interesting. Yeah, we should. Yeah.
in my family, we it's a running joke for all. I have 2 brothers. At everybody's birthday, the opposite 2 brothers whose birthday it isn't blow out the candles before. So it's like
Oh, that's a good idea.
it's like how we always have.
That's awesome though. That's cool.
yeah.
That's
And
cool.
so,
you
I mean,
guys
our
also
spits-
lick each other's eyeballs, so
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you guys-
I mean, there's not
yeah.
that.
I'm like a
French-
germaphobe, man. I can't handle that stuff.
Yeah. See, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
Yeah, me neither.
I think
That's why we're like, oh, code wasn't that bad when we both got it, but then it
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
Ryan was like near death, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Just
It's
start licking spoons randomly at restaurants.
Yeah. Well, Lori talked about that. It's an interesting case study. Will kids now have worse immune systems that have just spent the last 14 months in mass?
Duh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like
100%.
because they have they haven't exposed themselves to any bacteria, viruses. Hardly anyone caught the flu this year, right? Because
Yeah.
of
It's
mass.
incredible how the flu rate is.
Yeah, and that's because we all had masks on. I mean, I think that actually masks
it's all-
probably helped more for the flu than they did COVID,
Yeah.
quite frankly. But
Also,
yeah.
everybody's staying home and
everyone's
washing
staying
your
home.
hands, being
Yeah.
more conscious.
Yeah,
of it
actually
all.
giving a shit
The
about
whole
others.
deal.
But in the end,
helped.
will that affect? I mean, should you catch the flu every now and then to help
think
your immune
so.
system? And you just wonder if kids maybe 10 years from now are going to be a lot more immune to prey.
They're gonna have robo bodies. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to have. Yeah, we're going to.
Doesn't matter.
We'll have cured all diseases by then. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's interesting. I was talking about the fact that the mRNA COVID vaccine, the technology behind the mRNA vaccine, they think will cure cancer.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing,
I'm actually invested in one of the companies working on that project.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Good for you.
I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to get in trouble. But
yeah, a little SC.
Not financial
get the
advice.
SEC in here right now. I give lots of financial advice, and usually I gave my therapist once a really good piece of financial advice about a stock, and like it was Nikola. Stock, and Nikola stock was looking really good. They were going to be doing
they got
hydrogen,
sabotaged,
and they got destroyed, man. And
it was all fake too. The whole thing
so
was
sad.
fake.
Now, I mean,
Smeared.
it was like $60-something a stock. Now it's $10.
Yeah.
Probably a great company to invest in right now.
Absolutely.
Because
they were able to disprove it
$10.
all.
Yeah,
So,
it's $10. It's cheap.
Get it
Now
on
you're
specs,
now
man.
you're paying double for your therapy.
No, she didn't invest in it. Thankfully, she didn't invest in it. But I've always tell everyone, I follow a lot with investments. I'm really into it, but I always tell people, don't listen to anything I say.
Do it at your own risk. Yeah.
I mean, if it works out, if you got money to burn it, do it. But if you don't,
Absolutely.
Noah's done well with Dogecoin though.
Doge.
What's
your bags look like? Come on.
He actually bought in when it was like 0.001 cent.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Good for him.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He put in, and so
I've been in crypto for a long time, and I meant to do that, but I kind of lost it in my brain for a couple of years, and then it started coming back this year, and I was like, all right, finally, I'm gonna jump into it. So I got in at like 4 cents, 4.5 cents.
Oh, so you did great. You did great. Yes.
And I put in a good
times.
chunk in there. And I let it go up, and it doubled. And I was like, cool, profit's out. I'm done. Great.
Oh, shit.
Because it was all pumped. It was all hype. And I'm like, I love the Doge community,
it's like
but
30-some cents
but
right
now it's like here to stay because the money's in there. So
yeah, and it's someone else. They said a new celebrity. I don't know who it was. Just endorsed it, and it popped it again.
Oh, there's another one every day.
Yeah, it's
every
so
day.
I think it go to $1.
It'll hit $1. I don't know if it'll stay at $1.
Probably
but
won't go much over that just because the market cap's so high.
Yeah.
I mean, at $1, the market cap will be bigger than Bitcoin. So it's like that's the problem with it because
they also expect Bitcoin to,
Well, I think Bitcoin could,
1000x
but there is
still,
only
so.
21 million Bitcoins.
Yeah.
So there's a cap, whereas Doge is like infinite. You can have 10 bazillion, and that's the problem with crypto.
That's why it'll be a currency though.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to spend your Bitcoin. You want to spend your Doge.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. I agree with you.
This next one, can I read it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So this is an our beer. So he's been here. This is Lucas Landon Royals. This is Kai.
What up, Kai?
What's up, Kai?
What's up, Kai? He's actually lives not far from us. He comes to our reptile dinners and we hang out.
Ones that you were talking about. Yeah, the COVID spreading.
Yeah. That's why we haven't done it. But
sure. That's not what
we
Kai
haven't
says.
done. Yeah.
Kai says he got to do it every Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. No mask.
Jersey Sunday dinner, bro.
Yeah. He's invited.
You
always,
guys share the same food.
I would try, but he.
Kai actually has a really cool DIY channel too for building racks. So
there you go. For the person that asked earlier,
PVC
check it
racks.
out. What's it called?
Lucas Landon Royals.
Lucas Landon
Landon
Royals.
Royals.
He said,
Yeah,
"What's
so
up, guys?"
check that out.
The screen changed. So, what's up, guys? I need to say hi to my boys, Ryan and Ben.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This
He's
is
an
an
R&B-er.
interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting question. Who was there a conversation about R&B or B&R?
Yeah, there has to be.
That one. Yeah, there was a huge conversation
So
about that.
I'm the idea guy, and I was like, dude, we have to come up with a name. And he's like, yeah, we got to come up with a name.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go to sleep tomorrow. I'll give you a list.
Hold on.
I had like a monster list of all these names of companies.
First of all, the company was going to be called Pine Barrens Reptiles.
Pine
Okay.
Barrens
Before this
Reptiles.
guy existed.
I actually don't mind that.
Yeah, that's a good
actually.
one.
I don't
So
mind that.
I have a problem with it.
Why?
So I'm really into words. I'm like a word guy. And
too,
Pine
yeah.
Barrens
He's got the best words.
Reptiles
Right.
sounds
The
weird
S,
because of
it's
because of
double
it's
S,
plural
yeah.
plural.
Yeah.
And he goes, but it's not the Pine Barren. It's
Yeah.
the
Pine Barrens, man. What are you doing?
which is in New Jersey. It's a big,
Well, that's why I think it works. I think Pine Barrens Reptiles actually works.
yeah.
So I thought that
That's what he
I thought
did.
that was a great name, but he poo-pooed it. So
He's
I
like,
was
it could be
poo-pooed.
PBR. We could have PBR. Like,
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
I had the branding all worked
Oh,
out. It was gonna be great.
and I was like,
get
dude,
a little
Pine
beer
Barrens
brand.
Reptiles. I just can't do Pine Barrens Reptiles. If we could call it Pine Barren Reptiles, I would. He goes, no, everybody would think we're stupid. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
they would. But,
Yeah.
But then he threw down the gauntlet. And I was like, all right, if it's going to be anything, my initials going first. Like, wow, you're stealing the name.
Yeah, that would be the hardest.
Right, but also R&B sounds better than B&R. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, you got
no,
the
it
music
does sound
theme,
better.
yeah.
It does sound better. But I noticed he said Ryan and Ben, not Ben and Ryan. So
yeah, oh well, he likes.
I'm the
Ryan better.
alpha, so you know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. the
In the
big
platonic
spoon,
relationship.
big spoon, little
Yeah,
spoon.
in the totally 100% platonic
Yeah,
relationship.
exactly.
It's-
There you go.
Ben's the power bottom.
No,
Fuck yeah. Wild Boy Dev came back and says Taco Shed today, and can't believe I'm 27. I would never have guessed that.
That's what it was. 27.
Never would've
I
guessed
remember
that.
when I saw that, I was like, "What?" I thought like 22, 23.
I thought
You
he was
know?
like 19.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? You know,
That is bizarre.
He's going to look great when he's like 50. He's going to look like 30. You know what I mean? It's like he's got good genes, man.
Oh yeah. Matt says, Ryan, you're looking real thin, and Ben, you're losing weight and looking great. Brian, you're always looking great. Keep that up. Ben, blow us a kiss.
Oh man, Matt is look
Hit
at this
it.
guy. I like this guy, man.
Who's this Matt guy?
Yeah, that's actually my brother.
I figured it was had to be
I
somebody.
figured, yeah.
Blow him a kiss, baby.
Oh, man,
We paid a
I-
ton of
yeah.
people to come on here tonight.
So I'll tell you a funny story about
Oh,
Matt.
I want to know all about Matt, man.
So why
What's
he's saying
most
to blow him a kiss is so. It's real awkward, actually. We would be doing stuff as not even kids, like teenagers or whatever, like 18-year-olds, like and older, and he would just randomly like kiss me on the lips.
Oh, that's
like
What?
when I'm not
so
looking.
good.
Like he would just kiss me to make it real awkward.
Man, what's up,
Like,
dude?
and my brothers, so I have two brothers, and we're constantly like we'll punch each other in the face. Just
I think
for
it's a
fun.
Polish thing, actually.
Yeah, well,
Oh, I know. I'm Polish. I've never kissed a man on the lips.
and it's not something that we're like, yeah, let's do this. But he's like done that to like in front of people to make it weird.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
to be funny. And at his wedding,
Yeah.
he was like, Ben, it's my wedding. You got to give me a kiss, like on the lips. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
I
God.
hate you. All right, so I did it. Well, I didn't know he set it up with his photographer. Oh, he takes a picture, right? And so after the
shit,
wedding, I get this picture of us two kissing. It looks more passionate than him and his wife kissing.
Oh yeah.
And he like blurs out the like those.
Oh,
and my
that's
other
beautiful.
brother hung
That's
it on his wall for years until
Oh,
until they have a child that was old enough to say,
Why is Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
Why is Uncle Ben?
and I was like, and then, so
That's really great. That's
It's
a great
actually
story.
that is really cool.
it's a
dude.
really fun. My brothers and I are like real characters, and we have a lot of fun together.
That's awesome.
And,
I always wish I had that family. You
Same.
know, I'm so
We're rough.
jealous of that, man. I'm
Yeah.
so jealous because my family is like horrible. You know, I mean, no, it really is. I mean,
No,
like
I know.
Lori's family right now. Her brother is at they're hanging out and they love each other and it's
Real
You
close.
know, like they never fight. They always love each other. They're always like they can't wait to see each other. Like my brother and sister are complete. I mean, we hate each other, literally hate each other.
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't talk to my brother and sister. As a matter of fact, the reason I don't talk to my brother now, after this is like the 18th time I don't talk to him,
Yeah.
is the last time I bought him a ticket to go to Hawaii. I paid for it, and then he faked COVID. He faked COVID to not go. A free trip
That's
to
so
Hawaii.
weird.
And so I lost my money because when he said, I can't go because I've got COVID, I go, all right, well, just give me the positive test and they'll give me my money back. And it turned out that he was drinking and he checked into the hospital to rehab, to rehab. So, they won't give me my money back for that. You know? So, but, so I'm just like, what a dick. You know what I mean? Like, so.
See, I agree. I'm jealous of that shit too.
Yeah. So, but unfortunately, I mean, it's my family is not very good. Never has been, unfortunately, since I was a kid.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
But that's,
it's funny, like people look at my brothers and I, and we always have a good time, and people think that we're having fun, which we are, and we don't fight like ever, but we're real rough with each other. So people, when they see stuff that we do to each other, they're like, "You guys must hate like how," like for example, back when KB Toys was like still in, and they're like just getting out of KB Toys. So Jay grew up not far from where we live, so he knows. But they're closing. My brothers and I are like connected mentally.
Yeah.
So my one brother looks at my other brother and gives him like an eye nod or something.
Yeah.
And my brother goes, "Hey Ben, do you think we should buy this toy?" And I look over and I'm like, "Okay." My other brother, when I look over, my brother distracted, no words.
Right.
I had no idea. Puts on these, Incredible Hulk fist
yeah,
gloves.
yeah.
And I turn back and he punches me in the face,
oh
like
my God.
super hard.
Yeah, and those
right?
are
Those are not
tough.
soft.
Yeah,
Not soft. And so like cleans my clock, and I'm like in the middle of the store, and I'm like,
oh shit.
And so awesome. I'm like,
job,
we don't like, that's like fair game, like, because I got tricked into it. So it's like, and I was like, that's good. That was a good one. Like, and everybody around us was like, oh man, or should we call security or something? And I'm like, no, that was a really good.
He's like,
one.
I'm just gonna file that one away.
He punched me right in the face, and I didn't see it coming, and it was like funny, like So we always are. That's how we are.
Well, you should feel blessed, man, because there are many families that don't have that getting punched in the face.
Yeah,
punched in the face is a real thing.
Yeah, if I get punched in the face or vice versa with my brother, it's for real. Weirdly enough, we've never had a physical altercation, but yeah, not a real good person.
Rose's Bird says, Brian, when are you going to be at Gatorland in June? Also, not snake related, but have you heard of Camusco necklaces for anxiety?
I have never heard of Camusco necklaces for anxiety. I'd love to, maybe punch that in. I wouldn't mind seeing what that is all about. But Gatorland, we're definitely going to be in Gatorland in July.
Yeah.
If I'm talking if like everything
the
goes,
stars align.
If the stars align, we could be in Gatorland May 15th.
Which would be tight.
Which is like 2 weeks from now.
That's right.
But that's a tough one. I mean, it's going to be tough. The problem is right now is that, like, just like we were talking about earlier today, like leaving, eggs are being laid, things are going on, and it makes it very difficult to leave. You know what I mean? And
very busy time of year for reptile people.
Yeah, and it's like so like I've got to weigh. Like, okay, can I go? And if I go for this amount of time, I'm going to miss this clutch. I'm going to miss this clutch. You know, I've got to make sure whoever is pulling them right. If like Lori's here, we're good. You know, but if Lori's not here, then it's like dicey. You know, so yeah, I don't know.
Lindsay says, literally just left the Reptarium. Brian, I really wish I had a chance to see you, but Jay and Mike were awesome. Drove 7 hours yesterday just to come.
Oh, Lindsay, I'm so sorry.
That's a shame.
I'm so sorry that I didn't. I mean, you're literally 10 feet away from me. I wish you were still here because at least if you're, Lindsay, if you are in the area, stick around. I'll be done here within a half hour or so, and I can at least say hi to you. You know what I mean? So it would be But if you've already gone, don't turn around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you've got 7 hours to drive home. Please don't stop. But I will be here. I'll be back upstairs shortly. Yeah, but I appreciate you, man.
That's it for now.
Yeah, so that's but we're so lucky people do travel, and that's the one thing I hate is when people travel and I'm not here. Well, I'm here, but I'm not upstairs, obviously, and that's just what happens Saturday nights. We spend a couple hours down here.
Got a lot of pokers in the fire.
Yeah, and like they said, Jay. Did she say Mike?
Mike and Jay, yeah. Is Misty?
Mike, is Misty here?
Misty boy? Is the Misty boy up there?
I didn't even know Misty was working tonight.
I'm guessing so.
Okay, well, that's great. That makes me feel even better because that's awesome. But yeah, Jay's always great. As a matter of fact, Jay, said that he might want to leave tomorrow at 5:30. He's like, I might want to leave to 5:30. I got some things I wanted to do tomorrow night, like laser tag or some shit.
Yeah, probably laser tag.
And it's like, I'm like, oh, you can't.
You can't leave though.
But you can't leave. You can't leave.
Yeah.
Because then people get upset. Then and tomorrow night I'm not going to be here from 5 on because I've got company from Chicago, and so it'd be bad if me and Jay weren't here together. But we have Maria, and we have I thought Misty worked tomorrow, so
he might. I think he's working both days now.
Yeah,
right?
he's like working 7 days a week now.
I love him, man. Hustler.
Yeah, he's young hustler, hard man, and he doesn't even get paid. That's the funny part.
That's the craziest thing,
really?
dude.
No, I know.
I've never seen it.
No, we pay him. I was just trying to get around paying.
It's in Mountain Dews and Vernors, but
yeah, exactly. We just pay him in pizzas. But what else I want to say? So let's talk about the story.
I wanted to say what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So this was going to be at the front of the podcast, but so.
Brian doesn't really like us, but he felt obligated to invite us over.
No. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
But so let me set the story up here. Mm-hmm. This goes back to a little over a month ago, 6 weeks or so ago, and Jay and I and a lot of things were going on. We were really busy for a number of weeks, like 3-4 weeks in a row. And I told everyone I was taking Tuesday off, this one Tuesday off. I'm like. Mm-hmm. I literally all day I'm like, I cannot wait for tomorrow.
We talked about it all day.
All day I'm like, I'm not answering my phone. I'm not returning a text message. I'm not looking at my phone. I need tomorrow off to just go to sleep. and just like sleep and watch TV and watch movies and just kind of chill out, right? So it's about like what, maybe 9:30? So I don't even,
Something like that,
something like this. I get I see a call and I'm like, I'm not answering my phone today. I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I'm done. I'm taking, and literally I had, I know this is first world problems. I had my sauna cranking. I'm like, I'm going in my sauna. And so I literally go in my sauna and I see a text from Ben that says 911 urgent must call or something like that, right?
911. And I said, I never do that to Brian. He should see that.
So I'm in my sauna and I call you back. In my sauna. I don't know if you knew this. I was in my sauna when I called you back. I had clothes on. I had shorts on. I'm not naked. Not that matters.
Not fair.
But it wasn't a FaceTime. But so I call you back and you say, do you want to do a video with Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
And I just, ironically enough, my manager had for the last year been trying to find a way to get to Jimmy and Mr. Beast, and my manager's really good. He knows everybody.
It's impossible.
But he just doesn't have that connection to them, right? Yep. And so you go, do you want to do a video? And I'm like, well, yeah, I would love to do a video with them. And I'm like, when? And you're like, tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to leave
now,
right now.
Well, as you're talking to me, you're telling me where it is. And I've got you on speaker now in my sauna, and I'm punching the directions in. It's 13-hour drive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, they need you here tomorrow by 5. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, I remember telling you, so you can tell why this happened.
Yeah, I'll tell why. So to step back just a minute, it was Ryan, his wife. Do you want to tell that part?
My wife's friend does set design for celebrities, YouTubers, whatever, and she happened to get a job with Mr. Beast setting up some sets, and he never does any animal stuff.
No, he doesn't.
But she tells my wife about the gig, and I'm like, that's really cool because we're on YouTube and we we're fans and all that stuff. I'm like, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's
a huge deal.
So she's sitting in these creative meetings, and they're like, we're doing a would you rather with animals, and we need animal guy. Who are we gonna do? And she's like, I got somebody.
Yeah.
She calls me up. She's like, "What do you want to do this?" And
yeah.
I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want to do this. This is the biggest thing you could ever ask me."
Yeah.
So we set it all up. We're scrambling because they want a big order of animals. He does everything big time.
Yeah.
And we get it all together. Finally, everything's planned. We get down there, and it's COVID.
There's a lot of hoops that we had to jump through.
Yeah, it's COVID time. So before you go on set, you got to get tested.
I get tested.
I get tested, and I already had it at this point. So
so
I figured I was going to be fine. And Ben was feeling a little under the weather, but he kind of thought it was allergies.
Yeah.
Boom. Pops positive on a COVID test. At the worst possible moment in our entire lives.
Yeah, literally drive down to their place and test positive for COVID.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
I had a tickle in my throat.
It was super mild, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, no. And we were
you tested twice even, right?
So what happened was we tested. We drove over to the studio because we were going to park the van with all the animals in the studio.
Yeah.
And we were they gave us a car to go to a Airbnb. And so we're sitting in the van, and the manager of the studio area is like, all right, hang on, let me just waiting for the results. All right. And it's like, all right. And he's talking and goes, and he takes 2 steps back.
He's like,
and Ryan looks at me and I'm like,
uh-oh.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So he goes, okay. And then he says, hey, which one's Ben? And I said, that's me. And he goes, so you tested positive. You're going to have to go back and retest. Because I was like, I feel okay.
Yeah.
And so we went back and they tested him for antibodies.
Right.
And he retested me and I was still positive and he had antibodies. So he's cool, but since he's with you, he can't,
Yeah, now you can't. Yeah.
Right.
So
and you're good.
Well, we're scrambling at the last minute. While the biggest opportunity of our careers has dissolved in front of our faces, we're we got to figure out how to at least get this thing done.
Yeah.
Right? Who can we get here now?
Yeah, at least for the relationship.
Work with the animals well. Make sure these are our animals, so we want to trust the person.
Yeah.
Yep.
And could be on a big time production and not fall apart on the camera.
Yeah.
Yep. And to work with a bunch of different species. We had ball pythons, but we also had
scorpions, roaches. Yeah.
So we got to get Brian over here. There's nobody else that we could do.
First off, I really appreciate the call that you did it for, but it did send me into a complete panic for a number.
I can imagine.
It was one of the worst. It was the best and worst thing that happened.
I was gonna say there was a lot of good to that too.
Yeah. So ultimately, we're on the phone with Ben. I say, give me a minute. I'll call you back. I called Jay, who has also been working his ass off for weeks and has a day off and very much looking forward to having a day off. I call him and I say, dude, got an opportunity, Mr. Beast. We got to leave at like 4 or 5 in the morning. Do you want to do it? And as Jay always does, he's like, fuck, let's do it, man. Let's just go, you know? And so I call you back. Well, no, I take that back. I can then call because there were some stipulations. So I call my manager and I say, this is the deal. Should I do it? And I do tell him, I say, I also am very anxious about this, very anxious about traveling this quick. I needed a break. I'm, blah, 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 blah. And my manager says, well, first off, your mental health is the most important. He said, but I think if you can do it, it's a great opportunity. I would do it. So Lori's like, shockingly, because Lori would normally go, Brian, you can't, just don't do this. This is too much for you. Lori's like, I think you should do it. Noah's like, fuck yeah, do it, So everyone's on board. So I call you back, go, all right. And I think then now you pipe in Alex, the producer.
Yeah.
And then she comes up, now she hits me with the, you have to drive because you can't fly, which is better for me anyways, quite frankly. And she goes, you got to be here by 5 and you have to come alone.
That's the kicker.
And now I'm like, alone? What? I'm like, what?
Well, because she's like, well, we
can't take the chance. Yeah, you can't take the chance for one of us to, it's a lot less chance that one person.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like really tripping out because now since my anxiety started heavily back in March of last year, we did travel to Florida. We traveled that 5,700 miles. I've done a few other trips to Indiana, some other things like that. But I've always been with somebody.
You had a support group.
Yeah, I had someone else to talk me through if I was getting anxious and stuff like that. I haven't traveled anywhere alone. Nowhere. I mean, past the store or something like that, So now I'm like really flipping out. But again, everyone is like encouraging me. And I'm just like, so I tell you, fuck it. I'm doing it, man. Let's go.
If you didn't, I would have been like, "What?"
Yeah. I'm like, I got to.
How can you turn down this?
I got to.
And I was prepared to be on the phone with you the whole time. Like if you needed me, I was like, and we did talk for
we did talk quite a bit the whole time. But I like every mile that went by got harder for me.
Yeah.
And I think I told you guys the other day that I was about 3 hours away from location, and I literally almost called you guys to say, I'm sorry, I just have to turn back. I can't do it. But I kept on pressing through. And I was nervous on all kinds of levels. Not nervous to do the video. That part I knew I was going to be fine. I was nervous being away from home. I was nervous about testing COVID because I was dealing with some allergies at the time too. And I'm thinking, what happens if I get there and I test positive?
These reptile people, man.
And then, as an anxiety sufferer, and I know you've suffered with some anxiety in the past, so like things are going through my head. Like I was literally, I'm embarrassed to say this. Honestly, I brought a small bottle of shampoo so I could smell it on the way down.
Oh, yeah. That's smart, actually.
Because I was like, I kept on thinking, what if I have COVID? Did I start? And I would smell the shampoo just to make sure, like, okay, I can still smell. I don't have COVID. I'm going to be. And so it was a big relief when I finally went. And remember, I went, tested, and then went back to the Airbnb. We were staying right down in the same complex together.
Yep.
And so you were up on a balcony, COVID man up there. And we're talking. And
like
I think
40 feet apart from each other.
45. And I think you ended up getting the word before me that I tested. It was like 45. It's like, within 15 minutes. And I think I said, can you text Alex to find out if I tested? Because it's like now 45 minutes. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, you're good. And so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was like a huge relief. Like, all right, I didn't test
Which is
positive.
amazing.
Yeah, it was like it made me feel better. And then obviously the next day was the main production. And it was definitely a wild experience. To say the least, but obviously, so part of me is like so thankful that I get this opportunity and I get to do all this stuff and learning all these things. And on the other side of me is like my friends are stuck in an Airbnb, that put it all together,
missing out on a silver play button.
Yeah, missing out on it. Although I will say I don't know that you would have gotten the silver play button from it. You know what I mean? Because the thing is that he said no shout outs.
Yeah, that's what they were saying to us too.
Stuff like that. You guys may have gotten the shout out. You may not have. I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't know what would have happened. I mean, no one can ever tell, right?
Yep.
It shocked the hell out of me that he shouted me out because they said they were not going to shout me out.
Yeah, when we asked them about it, they're like, we get paid like Super Bowl ad money for shouting.
Yeah. And that's what, Alex, the producer, said right from the gut, you're not going to get a shout out. You're not going to get anything. So, and that was kind of part of I don't even know if I told you guys this, but what happened was, and I'll be totally honest with you, when this happened, I really thought it wasn't going to air. I thought they were doing it just as kind of like, let's just make this guy feel good or something like that. Because I've been on other productions that they cut things out, you know?
For sure.
And so
cuts a lot of stuff.
cuts tons of stuff out. So Jimmy comes to me and says, hey, Brian, I got to shoot one more scene with you. Let's mic Brian up and let's get him over here. And then surprises the shit out of me by just going like,
he really is a good guy.
I will tell you this. I've worked with a lot. You guys know I've worked with some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet. We're really the biggest YouTubers on the planet. And that crew is amazing. I mean,
Jimmy, super genuine.
Super nice.
Chandler, Jimmy, Nate. I mean, they were all, just super nice people. And you could tell that, in particular, Jimmy's heart is to give to people.
Absolutely.
You know? It was shocking. I had always said, even though David Dobrik has taken a lot of heat this last little bit, and some rightfully so, David always was a really great person. You know what I mean?
He was super nice to us, too.
Yeah, like you guys worked with David, you know, when I was there or when I wasn't there. And he's super nice, just a nice guy, man.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was almost like a more pure David, you know? Because the only thing about David, and I think this is why he's getting the heat, is that David really didn't care about, he wanted the views. You know, he would do almost anything for the views. And he liked animals. David loved animals, by the way.
Yeah.
But I could see David, not caring as much about the animal to get the views. Not that he was a bad guy. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like he wouldn't, if he wanted to do a stunt where it's like, oh, if we do this, it's going to get us a lot of views. And I said, but that's not going to be safe for the animal. He might be like, well, are you sure? Maybe let's just try it. Right. Whereas Jimmy would have been 100% if the animal's in jeopardy, we're not doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I told Jimmy when we shot that part where he shouted me out, they did cut the part out where I said, you're the only person that I would have done this with right now.
Yeah.
You know, like in my mental state and all this stuff, I would have turned everyone else down. But I said, I knew you were so image conscious that you would never do anything that would harm an animal because the image of it doing would hurt you so bad. And they cut that part out though, you know, which is fine. I mean, that was a personal moment between me and him.
Only reason we even agreed to do it because we have those concerns too. And through talking with their production team and all they were super concerned about how would this look to their community? What's the best thing for the animals? Like they were very concerned about that before the views, before what they can do for us. They cared about the animals, so that was cool.
So when they first started out with us, they were like, "Oh, we want," and they just told us like a multitude of animals to do, and they said, "You know, how will this work? What will it look like?" And I said, "You can't put they wanted 100 big snakes into, and so their big snake was 4 footers, and so you can't put 100 medium snakes into a bathtub with somebody in it and them not get jacked up in some way,
right.
So they said, okay, well, what and we talked about buying, we thought that we were going to buy or rent wild caught animals because we don't have animals that we just wanted to make sure that we weren't mixing with other collections.
Right.
The size of the animals. So there's a lot of factors that went into it for us. And they ended up dialing back what they were initially anticipating for the sake of the animals. So it was, awesome. And that was one of the things where I think this is going to work out well.
I think it's the only collab I've ever done that was a little, not prankish, but a little bit whatever, challenge with snakes that I didn't get any negativity from.
Yeah, it was Fear Factor stuff, but not really.
Got no, every other collab I've done that has done similar things has gotten hate for me, and this one got no hate for me, which just tells you how much they cared about their stuff. So regardless, obviously, it was something I greatly appreciated from you guys, and like I said, even if I wouldn't have got the shot, which I didn't expect to get, it was the experience of, number one, it was pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And with anxiety, you can't get better, right? You're right. You can't get better without pushing yourself into uncomfortable positions, becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. And it did help me tremendously there, as well as the knowledge I gained that day of how they did things. The most successful YouTuber on the platform, learning just their techniques, their thought process, not just them, but more their production crew, the way they shot things, the way they thought about things, and it really impacted me probably more than any other collab I've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done lots and lots of collabs, but it was a really impactful thing. So thank you guys, and
Dude,
hopefully
thank you, because you really like saved our hides, man. Like,
well,
you're like probably the busiest guy we know, and like to drop everything and come down and do that for us, like we appreciate it.
And I hope that'll continue your relationship with them, because you guys at least delivered, even though you had they understood.
I'm not holding my breath on that,
yeah.
but
I don't know that they're. It's like I told you, I don't know that they're going to do more animal stuff. I don't know. You know, I've talked with some of the production people about what future plans are, if they're ever thinking about doing stuff. And like you said, they had gone all that time. It's probably the only YouTube channel that is of that size that had never done anything with animals before. Like all of them hit me up eventually. You know what I mean? Almost every single one hit me up eventually. So it was kind of shocking that it took this long for Jimmy to do an animal one. I don't know that there's going to be another one. And it performed well, but it didn't perform like
outwardly well.
So much so that they're like, oh, we've got to do another one because this was so good, you know.
Yeah, it was
like average, you know. And it is crazy to think that 40 million is an average for anybody, you know. But but I'm glad it didn't do terrible, because if it would have been terrible, then there would have been no shot that there's going to be something in the future. So we'll see what happens, but let's hit a couple supers.
You got it. Sixpence says, check out lithium orotate and theanine, whatever, for anxiety.
Yeah, no, I actually have lithium oronate. Lithium is not the lithium like the crazy. No, or like the crazy drug.
It was a drug back in the day.
Yeah, lithium is still a drug that they give to crazy people. Lithium oronate is actually a mineral in the periodical table. Okay. And so ironically enough, I went to a naturalist and he said that I was deficient in lithium oronate. So I actually have lithium oronate capsules. I've never taken them because I'm so afraid to take them. But as a matter of fact, do you remember the day that he said you could just tape it to you?
Yes, I do.
And I literally taped a capsule to my heart. And I walked around all day with a capsule.
And the plastic.
It's not plastic. It's not plastic. Okay. It's actually like more like a tablet. You know, that's and I don't know if it worked or not. I was really interested.
Was he like this guy?
No,
he's taping
pills to his armpits.
No. What happened was I went to him twice. The first time I went to him, and they do this like test. It's a really weird test where like they like go up and down with your arm, and if you're resistant, like they'll like hold a mineral in their hand and touch your body, and then it's like a resistant. And listen, I don't know if it's like mental or what, but there's like your arm will be like really taut, like tight, and then all of a sudden they hit something, and all of a sudden you can't keep your arm up. It's just like your arm just like drops.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was lithium oronate. So he said, you need to take these lithium oronate just one a day. And then the next time I went, he goes, did you take them? I said, no. And he said, I'm just too freaked out right now. And this is when I was really bad in anxiety. I mean, like I was like, 10 out of 10 every day. And he goes, well, you know what? Why don't you just tape it to your body? Like tape it to your heart. He goes, you're still going to absorb the mineral into your body, you know, much like, I'm trying to think of the thing. Yeah, zinc. Yeah, where you can absorb through your body. So yes, I have not taken them, and now that I've gotten so much better, I haven't taken them either. But that's
that guy
good
called
advice.
me. He said when you go to visit the naturalist there to wear pants next time.
Yeah.
It's been really freaking him out.
Well, really? Well, I thought you were
naturalist.
And then of course theanine is just basically vitamin B.
Yes.
Yeah.
V-Dog says, on the vlog this week, you talked about the haters. What can I say to people if they said it's wrong to keep snakes the way you do at BHB? Had a few comments thrown at me for being supportive.
So it's a tough one. So, first off, so I get a lot, as you guys know, I get a lot of heat for keeping ball pythons in rack systems. But like that's the industry standard, you know what I mean? Now the question is then, well, is it right for the industry to do it? So I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I guess this is V-Dog. This is what I would say. If you take most ball pythons, if you put them into a naturalistic setting, they won't eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 100% true.
Out. They actually do better. Now, not every snake. Like I don't think a retic should be in a rack system. And I don't keep retics like that. So I think that's the it's like educate them to understand that ball pythons live in holes in the ground.
Yep.
And they do well in holes in the ground. Not every snake does well in holes in ground. So the fact that we keep the snakes that we keep the way we keep them in rack systems. With that being said, it is a touchy thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what you have to understand is that every single ball python breeder keeps their snakes in a rack system. Nobody breeds snakes, ball pythons in a naturalistic cage. Nobody.
It's impossible.
Nobody. No one's doing it. So does it make it right or wrong? I'm not sure. But if you're going to hate me, then you should hate the entire reptile community.
Yeah.
Because everyone is doing it. As a matter of fact, as you guys know, and I don't know, what kind of rack systems do you guys keep?
We have
ARS racks and sea serpents.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Different. So as you know, freedom breeders' racks are now smaller
Are they?
than ARS. Considerably smaller.
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're like a third smaller.
Wow.
You know, like all the new freedom breeders are the same depth as a CB70, but a third smaller this way.
Wow.
And that's what most Justin Cabelica,
standard, yeah.
Miguel's, all the new freedom breeders. I mean, Kevin McCurley now is keeping them in the new systems. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that we keep ours in racks that are bigger now.
Yeah.
The ARS size CB70 racks are actually larger than the industry standard of freedom breeders now. And most people are using the smaller ones because you can fit more into the area now. So that's all I can say. And listen, you're not going to change some people's minds, but that's
Some people are just going to hate and just
and that's the way it is. I didn't come up with
perpetuate it.
I didn't come up with rack systems.
Yep.
I'm not the guy that did it.
And you're not going to be the one that does away with them.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be that way forever. And so this is the thing I say about people that are against rack systems. Is that, and I'm not going to argue whether it's right or wrong. That's up to you to decide. But you can't argue two things. So if you don't want rack systems, expect to pay 5 times the price for your snakes.
Absolutely.
So if you want a ball python for $100, you got to be okay with a rack system because it costs $75 to produce a ball python in a rack system, right?
Yep.
If you want me to keep a ball python and keep them all in naturalistic, number one, I'm not going to get as much production because there's going to be stress, and it's going to cost me $500 to produce a ball python. So you're going to have to be willing to pay 5 times the price for your snake or your leopard gecko or whatever the animal is, right? That's just reality.
And then you start doing that, and they'll tell you, "Oh, you're money hungry and greedy. Look at you."
Right. Yeah.
There's no winning the argument.
But who's money hungry? Because is it you that wants to buy a cheap snake as a pet, or is it me that wants to produce it cheap enough to sell you a cheap snake as a pet? You know what I mean? Like I make the same profit either way. You just have to pay 5 times the price.
Oh, that's
but
spot on.
you won't pay 5 times the price. You won't, because you'll be like, oh, that. Let me put it this way. Let's say R&B has a pastel ball python for $100. And you're breeding them in racks. And I decide to take the high ground and say, I'm only breeding them in whatever.
Free range ball pythons.
So yeah, now, but my pastel's $500. How many pastel ball pythons at $500 am I selling compared to your $100? None.
Not a lot.
None, literally none. Everyone's going to be like, Brian is so expensive that I'm going to buy from this guy. You see what I'm saying?
We're 20% lower.
Right, yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
But you see
Good
you see what I'm saying is like you can't argue both sides of that, and that's oftentimes what people do. They'll argue that I shouldn't keep stuff in racks, but then they will also argue if I'm too expensive because I'm not keeping them in racks, right? So
They just want to be haters. That's it.
they just want to find things to hate. So V-Dog, I appreciate you.
On the front
just
lines.
keep listen, man. Just keep to your ground. Say, listen, he's not an animal abuser. Fuck you. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is.
Matt, your brother, came back and he says, Ben surprised me with a waxing without me knowing, and I had to walk around campus looking excited and red-faced all day. I was styling.
Oh, it was his face, though.
So,
We
went and got.
I was like, what are you walking around campus? How do people know? How do people know you wax your balls?
Matt's got a Brazilian.
It's a hilarious story, oddly. My brothers and I, we have tons of stories with each other, but that, since it's up there. I had a girlfriend that was staying at a college in the middle of Pennsylvania, and we went out there, and she wasn't getting done classes, and like we were there early, so I said, let's go get our haircut. So we went and got this haircut, and we were both getting it at the same time, and afterwards they they washed our hair, like our heads, and I had more hair, he had more hair then, and we're laying in the sink, and on the ceiling it says waxing, like $5 or $15, whatever it was, and I pointed at it. And the lady looked at me. I was like, and I went like this, and I was like, and I pointed to my brother.
Oh, nice.
So my brother Matt has this weird thing, like he doesn't really affect him, or he doesn't really get it.
Yeah.
So like he can stick his hand in like boiling water and be like,
Jesus.
okay, no problem. Or
That's
he'll
weird.
grab a pan out of the oven and go, oh yeah, that's pretty hot, and he'll set
Oh
it
my
down.
gosh.
And like stuff like that, and you're like, I don't know what's wrong with the boy,
Yeah.
but
Some nerves.
Yeah,
so,
that's weird.
So I did, and he's laying there, and the wax goes on, and she's like, she doesn't say anything. She just is waxing his eyebrows, and she rips it off. And I'm gonna step away a little bit from the mic, but he's like, out of nowhere, nice peaceful place, right? He goes, what do you stop? He didn't know that wax was going on, and so when she ripped it.
Oh my!
And you
God.
know, so they had to go back to it to like rip off the rest of it.
Yeah,
And
because you can't do a partial wax. Yeah.
So then his eyebrows looked, like he was like in a surprised face.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
because he had this.
And his eyebrows were all red, like he
shit.
just got waxed.
Oh my gosh.
We go over to the campus, and he's like, "Yeah, you can't pick up girls like that."
Oh
It was
my
just like
God, that's
It was
awesome.
hilarious.
That's a good
Oh
one.
my gosh, that's
funny.
that's a good one. I
And you're like,
that.
"Yeah, my brothers and I, we fist fight each other."
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah. I've never waxed my brother. Yeah.
But I hope to. Lindsay, which was the one that
Yeah, she's gonna come back
Yeah, she
over.
said, "Thank you so much, Brian. I'm heading back over now."
Good, awesome, Lindsay. I'll meet you for sure.
Let Roses Burn says that. So that's why who you guys are talking about, Ryan and Ben. Awesome. And my bad. I thought it was June, not July. You were coming to Florida. No biggie.
Yes, July is the date.
And then Jimmy's Reptiles says, "Thank you for inspiring us all. Love listening to the podcast on my way to work as a reptile therapist and when I am building my custom enclosures."
Oh,
Wow,
good. Well,
awesome.
good. Well, we appreciate you watching and listening and doing all that stuff. So just drive safely when you listen, because
Sixpence says,
Don't go
I
as
don't want to
fast
get
as we do.
sued.
Yeah, yeah.
As Brian killed somebody.
"Yeah,
in the
take away his
podcast.
license."
Yeah, he's such a bad person. He's
Yeah,
like, I
right.
got in a car accident because of him.
Yeah, these are the last words my son heard before he died. It's
Yeah,
like, "Woo,
that's
doggy."
Brian.
You know?
Do it, Brian's a bad dude.
Oh man, Sixpence says, "Could non-morphs and endangered species be the future of hobby invisible arc idea?"
Well, I think that, yeah, okay. So, and he said theanine is an amino acid, not a vitamin B. I think that isn't vitamin B have an amino acid in it called theanine, but I could be wrong. But anyways, doesn't matter. I think that the invisible arc thing is an interesting thing. I think that works in some aspects, certainly. You have, let's say, the spray frogs from Tanzania that were captive bred at the Bronx Zoo originally. Now are being bred in mini zoos. They were extinct in the wild in Tanzania.
Wow.
And we also saw, similar to, say, crested geckos. Now they have found some pockets of crested geckos in New Caledonia
Yeah,
on
I was just
some
gonna
islands.
say.
But for a long time, they thought they were extinct in New Caledonia, and here they were being produced. And now you even look at, say, what Ty Park is doing with iguanas, not just the rhino iguanas, but now the recordi and stuff like that are literally almost, Ty has probably got, not probably, he absolutely has more rhino iguanas than are in the wild.
Oh, for sure.
In Punta Gorda, Florida. And now he's got the recordi that are critically endangered, and he's already hatched a couple, and he's probably going to, in the next 5 years, he'll probably have hundreds of recordi. And I know he's talked with Lewis I and stuff like that, working with it. So I think captive breeding in some aspects too. Now, I think we'd be probably remiss by saying, we're breeding ball pythons for conservation, because that's just not accurate.
Not at this point, yeah.
But maybe down the road it will be.
It will be, for sure.
We
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen, but so I do believe Tom Crutchfield had, which, by the way, I took some heat the other day at the podcast for glorifying Tom Crutchfield.
Oh,
my God,
you
you're
can't do
glorifying
anything
a
right.
smuggler, and stuff like whatever, But it was a good hater, but Tom Crutchfield. What was I going with this? I don't even think I was going with that with Tom Crutchfield.
Oh, you were talking about the invisible arc.
Yeah, the visible arc. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was going somewhere with the thought process, but I think
would
that
say morphs are probably the gateway drug to conservation. You know what I mean?
Well, right, and that's where I was going with it. Was Tom Crutchfield, was the fact that he said conservation through commercialization.
Yep.
If you really look at the truest and best conservation recovery stories, they're almost always based in commercial, right? I mean, the reason why we have alligators in such abundance is because they commercially started farming them.
That's right.
Same thing with crocodiles, the porosis in Australia, and the list goes on and on. As soon as you make something valuable,
People keep it around.
People will keep it around. If there's more money in keeping them alive than killing them, people will keep them alive. If there's more money in killing them, people will kill them. Yeah. And that's just the reality. So you're right. I think the gateway is the right way to look at it. Is if you get somebody interested in a leopard gecko, a ball python, a corn snake, and they fall in love, you never know when one of those people that fall in love with those animals is going to be the next wildlife warrior that's going to save many species and so on like that. So listen, when you look at Steve Irwin per se, the story behind that is, Bob Irwin, although Steve Irwin was not in favor of captive breeding or even captive propagation any level unless you were a zoo. The truth is his dad is the one that started his passion, Bob Irwin, and Bob Irwin used to keep and breed snakes when he was younger.
Oh yeah.
So Bob was a guy that believed in captive propagation and did keep stuff like that. Ultimately started, the Australia Zoo, and now it became whatever. So Steve's passion started with Bob's passion, which was keeping snakes in captivity.
Drew Toit Comics says, hey, finally caught you live. I've been to the Reptarium 10 plus times.
Wow.
But I need to get back to meet Drogo.
Oh my gosh, please come up, man.
Oh man.
So it's like
Detroit, but Drew Toit. It's hard
comics.
to say.
I wonder what his comics are like.
Yeah, we should
or
check
her
it out.
comics are like, I guess.
Yeah, we should check it out.
But thank you for coming so many times, and please come up and see Drogo.
Becky says, I love Saturday Night's podcast. And
well, we love you, Becky. We do.
That is it, my friend.
She's from Prince Edward's Island.
I love Prince Edward Island.
Nice.
Yeah, so
it's
is it amazing?
Oh, it's so
beautiful.
Cool. I went when I was like 17 or 18.
Oh, nice.
And
did you meet Becky?
No, I don't think so. So it's possible.
You guys would be good friends.
I went up for a friend's wedding, and my brothers and I, young guys, we used to inline skate all the time, so we just were skating around and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful area, like the land is beautiful, but we called it the land of milk and honey. Everywhere we went, if a girl was like 16 or a girl was 50, they all looked 25.
Oh my
like
gosh,
they're all. It was just crazy.
The milk and honey. Was,
There's a couple honeypots around the country.
It was a very interesting thing. I don't know if it's changed or not, but it was.
Becky looks 25. By the way,
super
too.
safe area. Oh, she does. I didn't know that. That's crazy. She could be 60.
Yeah, she could be. I don't know. I don't know.
But
she looks 25. She looks 25 to me. So I don't know.
It was
I don't know
awesome.
anything about that, but that's cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to put a link in the description to their stuff. Go show them some love.
Well, thanks for having
follow
us,
them
man.
on Instagram. Follow them on YouTube. Let's get their YouTube count up. And we had a great time over the last few days since you guys have been here. We're going to have some.
Not tomorrow. I think the next. Oh yeah, tomorrow too, right?
What's that tomorrow?
Tomorrow's one of the videos.
Is it one of the videos?
Yeah. Yeah, I challenged them, right?
Yeah.
So starting tomorrow, and I think the next day. So
yeah. So that's going to screw you up.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I hope not.
So is it going to be tomorrow is Sunday, Monday is going to be
that's fine.
The bigger. So Monday is going to be a video. Well, tomorrow is a good video. It's Monday is going to be a video that you guys could. We Mr. Beasted it a little bit, so you guys can win some money.
If y'all like money.
If you like money, you're going to want to watch Monday's video.
That's right,
but go show these guys some love. I really do appreciate you guys tremendously for everything. And so that's it.
This was a great experience, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. We had a good time. I loved the time. I love having you guys as guests, and we will hang out. We're going to go up and meet, what was her name again? I'm sorry.
Lindsay, maybe?
Lindsay, I think, yes. Lindsay. We're going to go up
Coming
and meet
for you,
Lindsay. Lindsay, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you.
All right, we'll be upstairs in like 5 minutes, Lindsay. All right, you guys have a great night. Love you guys. See you soon.
Thank you guys
so much. Thanks for watching.